Zimbabwe's asking to rejoin the Commonwealth if when Brexit happens. So, we got 53 countries there.
Well, on that note, welcome to the Redeye Stream, number 118. Ebola is back, and this time it's in the Republic of Congo. Just when you thought all you had to fear was man-eating monkeys, now you get to bleed from your eyes. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Wait, hold on. There's man-eating monkeys?
Oh, you haven't seen that movie, fucking Congo? How old am I? Jesus Christ.
Oh,
what's wrong?
Well, no, I thought you were serious. I was...
Boy, you're quite a racist mod. I mean,
definitely
black folks are running around eating people like...
Black.
What?
Look, the black.
I think you're the one. I think you're the racist one. You made that equivalency, sir.
Madodge.
You're the one who said there were monkeys around eating people.
Yeah, you did.
Have you seen the movie? There were gigantic apes eating people. Yeah, I know. Apes aren't monkeys.
Madodge.
Now that we're off to a great start, let's go over the first bit of information.
We know the black people just like melon, fried chicken, and grits.
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh,
that's their diet. Not people. No people involved.
Okay. Anyway, Zach, go ahead and open it up. I think you shared this story to begin with, right?
Yes. So I got the article from Reuters,
and Greg Soda,
which actually has a decent reputation as a legacy media news source, believe it or not. And it says that we have 19 dead and another 39 infected so far. Actually, in the DRC, I was mistaken earlier when we were talking about this pre-chat. The outbreak is happening in the big DRC, which is known for having a wealth of raw materials such as gold, lithium, and copper. And now they are having Ebola breakouts. And some of the problems with this that will cause it to be a bigger problem is their burying rituals in Africa and how they just burn people and how they're very up close, and it doesn't help quarantine the disease. So the fact that people want to bury their dead and be close to it, and it may even be a touch of cannibalization, this disease can spread a lot more quickly.
Yeah, okay, I would like to ask a little bit about that because I was watching a Styx video earlier on this. He only did a 6-minute video. I don't know how much homework he did. But he said the difference between this outbreak and the one in Sierra Leone and also in Madagascar was that the burial rites were more Western in Congo than they are in Sierra Leone. So they're not up close to the body as much. Is that true or is that false?
I think it's true in the bigger cities where a lot of the mining action happens, but in a lot of the rural areas, I think it's still just as bad. But because the DRC has a raw materials industry, I think people are a little bit more secular. So I kind of agree with this statement that it's not as bad. But to say that it's not a problem in certain areas is kind of irrelevant. So it depends on where the outbursts occur more specifically.
Well, yeah, and also I'm echoing. Cabbage. Yeah, sorry, Cab. I had to do that. Okay. So also, Ebola itself is really hard to transmit. I mean, it can be transmitted as an STD, and it can be transmitted through fluid contact, almost like the HIV virus.
It's a waterborne virus or disease.
Okay. Well, if you know a little bit more about it than I do, please elaborate a little bit.
Well, that's about that much more is about what I know about it. Right? It is waterborne. All right. You can get it, at least at this point, communicable through sweat, which or spittle or things like that. Which is why people have masks, etc. Right. But it also is possible to infect a water supply. So if you have for example, somebody dies and lays in a water somewhere that other people, funnels into a water supply that people drink, it could be spread that way theoretically.
So it's almost like dysentery or cholera spread through the water source.
Could be. I don't think it's as virulent that way. I mean, as far as how easy it is to spread it that way, but it is waterborne, like cholera. Yes.
Yeah. Then Devil's correct about human-to-human transmission. It can be via direct contact through broken skin or membranes with blood, secretions, organs, or other bodily fluids of infected people, and with surfaces and materials, e.g. bleeding cloth, contaminated with these fluids. So yeah, you're talking kind of like AIDS to some degree. There needs to be contact with some kind of secretion or blood or something like that.
Cabbage, I don't know what you got in the background, but it sounds like a music box. I don't know. But
Right,
okay.
is it still playing?
Yeah, it was. Now it's not. You're good now.
Okay.
Okay. So also, there's a long incubation period with this disease as well, right? That's why people can travel from place to place and not even feel sick until a month or two later. Or, I mean, I remember reading that with the last outbreak. That's true, right?
There's different variants on there. I mean, it mutates. I mean, that's the problem with this sort of stuff, right? They mutate very quickly.
Symptoms of Ebola virus disease, the incubation period, that is, the time interval from infection with the virus to onset of symptoms, is 2 to 21 days. Humans are not infectious until they develop symptoms, and first symptoms are the sudden onset of fever, fatigue, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat.
Yeah, that's another thing I remember reading, because the initial symptoms are so flu-like that you just think, you came down with something, with the flu.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the biggest problem is the incubation period from 2 to 21 days. I mean, something as rapid as 2 days, I mean, you would just assume that it was something as simple as a fever, and you would just wait it out. But it's the fever might go away and symptoms might change. So you might not even notice it to begin with.
Well, it's like flu symptoms, isn't it? Flu symptoms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Gwendy, this is your first time on the show. Welcome. Anything to add about the Ebola outbreak? I mean, I do remember the one from last year, and it spread rather rapidly, and it kind of worried the whole the World Health Organization, at least.
CDC. Gwendolyn.
I don't.
She's
yeah, I don't know if her mic's working or not. But yeah, I don't know. It just in a place like this with the poor healthcare that they have, this could escalate rapidly. And could you imagine an Ebola outbreak worldwide? This is a disease that has what, 80 to 90% kill rate, and there's no way to really do anything about it. You just try and keep them comfortable and hope they don't die.
Exactly. And part of the problem from last time was a lot of the U.S. doctors that helped quarantine and take care of the disease, in whatever capacity they can, a lot of them flew back and served their quarantines in the United States at their homes, which scared a lot of the people in the local area. I remember Styx bringing this up about a doctor who lived in the Houston area who recently flew back from, I think, Sierra Leone when he took care of people with Ebola, and how that city essentially shut down for a couple of days because of that.
Well,
so
I was going to
exaggerate. Yep.
I was going to say, I mean, if people want to go into a conspiracy idea, you could say it's the ultimate way of shutting down a society. If you want to get control over something, we're here to help you. The most dangerous words government can ever say. You create something, and the thing is, all you need is some good TV coverage, like some white hats doing their job and things like that. Everyone's freaking out, wag the dog stuff.
Well, if you want to talk about dumb conspiracies, people argue that some of the research that the U.S. government does in Alaska with clouds is trying to figure out how to manually create storms, so that way we can bum rush everywhere and say, oh, look, we're just giving aid.
They already know how to seed They did it in Vietnam in the with what was it? MC, wasn't it? Operation Popeye or something?
Yeah, they seeded the
The
clouds.
Ho
They
Chi
made
Minh
the-
Trail. Yeah.
Yeah, they made the monsoon season last.
That's
I
it.
think it was 2 months longer than
There
normal.
you go. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, weather manipulation is actually mentioned. Even
I mean, we can't.
UN regulations on it.
Okay, we can cloud seed. All right, that's true. But as far as actual, what the actual
No, we
effect
didn't
was-
mention HARP or anything. We're not going HARP level.
No.
but,
Well,
you know,
I'm not talking about harm. I mean, but to say that we actually extended it by 2 months, we don't know. The reality is we don't know. We can guess that we can see certain effects right away, but long term effects over weeks or days, we don't. 1 or 2 days.
no, that's bullshit.
No, it's
That's
not.
bullshit because
Bring
no,
it
it is
back.
no, and
Bring it
I
back.
can give you an example of this because there's a posh tart over here. Her father was, high up in the Air Force, and Tara Palmer Tompkinson, she's called, right? I mean, if there's ever a posher name, I've never heard one.
Yeah.
Right, and during her 21st birthday. They actually cloud seeded so that they would make sure that the skies would be clear for the concert that they had laid on. So, and that's happened on several occasions. In fact, Red Square, it's not like it's
That's not what I'm saying, Cabbage.
You know it works.
That's not what I'm saying.
The point is throwing out the conspiracies to bring it back to the Ebola. The point is, if people want to help in the DRC, I think it's preferred by almost everyone, no matter where the doctors come from, is that they serve their quarantine in Africa or somewhere not where they come from. That way we know they're clear when they fly back, just because of how quickly things can spread in airports and travel.
Oh yeah, damn right.
I have to say that actually the best thing to do would be to nuke it from orbit. Sure.
Good man. I see. Now those are moderate realizations right there.
Well, no,
Yes.
okay, so I agree with them serving their quarantine at the epidemic
Good
site,
policy.
pretty much, because that's just smart.
Well, no,
you don't
because
want to
but
send
it
them
happened
home,
last
but
time.
I know
It happened last
I
time.
know.
Yeah. So I mean, you just ground aeroplanes and you don't let people in potentially dangerous areas move.
But
I mean, that's
from what I remember from the last outbreak, which was 2 or 3 times this size, that the major concern really is mutation. Like Cabbage, you touched upon that at the beginning.
Mhm.
And if it becomes airborne, we're all fucked. All right, this is like the zombie fucking virus. Okay, you don't want this motherfucker to turn airborne.
Look,
well, you won't have zombies.
okay, I know
There
a
won't be
tiny
any
bit about
condition to do
biology,
anything.
and if you want a disease to become airborne, the protein lining at the ends of the virus will have to become significantly thicker to sustain environmental stress. That mutation is highly unlikely, and it would need nothing close to a miracle in order to pull that off. So, in order to
No,
build that
Zachary.
lining, it would
No,
need
you
a
could-
really good luck with the roll of the dice. It's not that
No,
it's
if-
impossible, but I think it's highly
It-
unlikely.
Yeah, but I
if
hate
you
to do this.
if you aerosolize
Well,
it,
yeah, that,
within that makes a big difference because you give it a canopy,
See,
like a
yeah,
bubble
yeah,
in which
see,
to survive.
Cabbage already
Aerosolize.
Yeah, Cabbage already touched upon where I was going to go. And what if somebody tried to weaponize this? All right, because there are rogue countries that would love to weaponize Ebola and drop it in New York City. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but even with the canopy, it
Yeah,
would
but
still
would you
need a little
miss
bit of
it?
help. No, it's the roll of the dice. I can't say yes or no. Okay, you have me there, and then
Well, I'm saying
massive
genetic
hypothetical.
manipulation. I'm saying a person manipulates this virus to weaponize it and makes it airborne.
You'd still need to go through several generations in order to do it. It's very possible, but I think we'd catch the person.
You still need a delivery mechanism, and like I said,
Well,
if you're going to aerosolize it,
And also,
plenty
you
of-
need
you're
people
gonna need
on the
some
boots in
pretty
Africa
If
to
you-
do
tools.
this.
if you're going to play with it and you're trying to turn it into an airborne virus, one of the problems that you would run into is the fact that it would become less virulent. Okay, because it's when you start to strengthen those chains, the outer chains, all right, the communicability will go down. All right, so there are other ways to possibly do this, as Cabbage is saying. If you aerosolize it, if you keep it within an envelope of water or liquid of some sort, could you use it as a weapon, or even as it is, could you use it as a weapon? The answer to that is technically yes. Right now, how are you going to spread it? The only way to really spread it would be in an enclosed area, which, if you hit New York like a subway system, would be a very effective way to do it, where you can get hundreds of people.
Well, don't forget Japan.
Yes.
Remember Japan, MC.
Yeah, you're right about Japan would be another place you could do it very, very easily.
Well, no, they did. Don't you remember? It was that crazy.
Well, that was that was a sarin attack, and they actually screwed that up. It could have been much worse if they weren't so incompetent. Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't laugh because they killed like 12 people.
Well, yeah.
And a lot of other people went to hospital.
Well, no, and what we're looking at right now in the Congo is 19 dead, 39 infected. So let's say there's going to be 50 dead about. I mean, you have an 80% kill rate with this disease. So
the thing is, if you know where patient 0 is, then you can cut it off at the nub. It's not, and you can connect the people who they've been in contact with. It shouldn't be that difficult. If it's that few a number, then they should be able to, to isolate it pretty easily. It doesn't sound like a massive problem to me. It really doesn't. It sounds like that.
What about with the incubation?
Big issue out of nothing.
What about with the incubation period and the fact that a lot of these areas are hard to reach? I mean, we're talking about the fucking jungle here. So there's probably more cases that are being reported, right?
Well, I don't know. Are they?
Probably.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I would be assuming here, but
well, if they are, they're hardly likely to be boarding a Boeing 747 and heading to New York. I mean, they're going to stay where they are. These aren't people who are exactly commuters.
Yeah, but what if they know the way?
Well, that's what I was trying to play. Do they know the way? You see, and he fucking muted me.
Gwendy, your camera's on. We can't see anything, but your camera's on. Just so you know.
I know. I'm trying to get everything to work because I think you can hear me now.
Yep.
Yay.
Good. Okay, hold on, because I'm fucking everything up. There we go. Jesus.
You found your way.
I found a way. That took me forever. Like, I started talking about Ebola, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, we can't hear you." I'm like, "You fucks!" Okay, hello.
Okay. Mission accomplished.
I figured it out.
Well, welcome to the show.
Drew, well, you see, that's because you're a woman. If you'd have given it to Drew,
no, you know what? I don't want to hear your laugh.
Boy.
Fuck, stop.
Should have fixed it like that, but
No, I just moved. Like, I literally drove 15 hours to get the fuck away from Minnesota, so I don't have a job yet. And then I lost my ID, so I can't get a job yet. It's really frustrating.
Okay, can I just point out that the woman's been here for 30 seconds and she's already derailed the conversation?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, about herself.
She's
important.
She started with the Ebola. Leave her alone. We finally get a woman here.
Started with Ebola.
I think I'm beginning to understand the problems you've had, boys, with women.
I do not have problems with women.
Yeah, no, hold on. If we play our cards right, we might be able to get a black guy one day. Okay, let's not.
Oh my god, you guys.
40, I hit the first bubble. There's no way a black guy would come on the stream.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, because I did reach out to that guy's stream. I don't know what it was that I went onto that time. And I did say, if you like to get in touch. So, okay. It could be fun.
No, but
by the way, you think, Basil, what do you want with black guys? You fucking person. You don't get enough on Pornhub.
No, I know. Okay.
40 alone.
40 ounce. 40 ounce. California already has legalized AIDS. Are they going to legalize Ebola?
Yeah.
What
That's
do you
the
mean by
question I-
legalize AIDS? I don't understand.
But the princess smells of
Forty.
Ebola.
You're the Californian. Explain.
Let me put this in simple terms. I give you AIDS, I get fined. That's pretty much it. End of story.
Yeah.
No, isn't it like if you knowingly give somebody AIDS, like you're an asshole
no.
and you purposely go out of your way to give somebody AIDS?
You
No,
only get
now,
fined. Yes.
knowingly, it actually specifies that knowingly give somebody AIDS.
Yes.
It is a misdemeanor.
But
Yeah, knowingly.
you should not knowingly give people AIDS. That's
Well,
wrong.
you should tell that to California.
Yeah.
If you unknowingly engage in sexual activity and you have the AIDS virus, and you don't tell your partner can get you fined. Congratulations.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. And you should, because you're an asshole.
No, you should go to jail for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
before it was a felony, you actually
Yeah.
went to prison for it.
You think it's okay to just get fined? You know, when
I
like
didn't know it
this
was an
person's
actual
put
like,
somebody
felony.
onto a fucking.
I'm from Minnesota, okay? We don't have that problem.
You don't have an AIDS crisis.
No, not in Minnesota.
Give it time, and you will if you don't pay attention.
Well, I'm not there anymore, so I'm not worried about it.
Can I
Yeah,
ask why
damn
you
it.
chose to leave Minnesota after the winter is over?
Yeah.
Because mosquitoes the size so big that you can literally smack them with tennis rackets.
So, in other words, you appreciate the winters where you're in the frozen tundra for most of the time? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, okay. In all actuality, I love Minnesota. Like, the state is great, really well. There's jobs up the fucking zoo. The weather's really not that bad. I'm used to it. Just, have you met my family? No. God, no. I had to get away from them bitches.
It's not the point. The cold is what would drive me away. Of course, there's
Oh,
a
no,
reason
no.
I live in
I like the
desert.
cold. But, I mean, I've slept in that, so it's okay. It's
You slept in
not
the
that
cold.
bad. Yes, I actually was homeless for a minute. Had to sleep in my car. It got down to negative 54 degrees one year. It was really cold.
Oh God.
I know. I had like 6 blankets. It was awful.
Sometimes.
Oh, it's okay.
But I could
Michigan's
just
not my best
imagine.
choice, yeah.
I could just imagine California though. Oh, you knew you had Ebola? What the fuck? All right, here's your $500 fine. Now we have a fucking zombie fucking virus going around LA.
Zombie virus. Oh,
Not
gosh.
a zombie virus. Well, I wish you'd stop saying that shit.
Oh,
Like
have
he's
you
trying
seen
to-
these people? Have you
It's like
seen them
he's
bleeding from their eyes and shit? Like,
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
terrifying.
look, you want to see a zombie virus? Walk down the street and look at all those fuckers who were just staring at their iPhones. That's a
No.
fucking zombie virus.
No,
It's
no,
already
no.
happened.
No, I agree with Mad. It is a zombie virus. That way we get to shoot all these fuckers in the head.
That's terrible. Why are we shooting? Don't shoot people. It's not nice.
Yeah, if you're trying to spread Ebola, I don't have much of a problem with that, to be honest.
I mean, if you're purposely spreading Ebola, there's an issue. You have a problem. You should fix that.
With a 9mm.
You should
Yeah.
fix it. Yeah, you should get
Fix
some.
it from distance.
You got to address
From
that.
distance.
You need some counseling.
Since it's a waterborne virus, use fire. Use a lot of it.
Oh, gosh. I can handle none of you. I am too sober for all of you bitches. I'm gonna go outside and not be sober.
Okay, what's the next story there, 40?
I forgot what the next story was supposed to be.
see, this is why I don't light them up ahead of time. No.
Was it Maxine Waters? Was that
It-
the
Yeah, I think it was-
I'm
I
on
think it was
stream of
Maxine
the
Waters, yeah.
podcast right now.
Okay, hold on.
God, I just really wanted to get high.
What the fuck?
Get a bong.
I don't have a bong, just my money. Shut up, guys.
Yeah.
She's not got a bong. She got a pipe.
Yeah, what was your address again and your local police number?
Yeah, that's a pipe. There's a pipe. I know a pipe when I hear it.
All right.
Sounds
I
like
gotta-
40 wants to swatter.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just
One second,
you're just
wait.
mad because you quit smoking weed,
What?
40. I got my pipe loaded. Everybody's gone. I'm smoking a bowl too.
I just rolled a joint. So we're all good to go.
Right?
You're
Everybody
all
just get high.
fucking
It's great.
degenerates.
I was about to say, me,
Yeah.
MC, and fucking Voice will just go start our fucking good Christian stream.
Yes.
What?
that would be-
Are you nuts?
I heard a good Christian. Did you say Christian or Kush? Because I can't tell what I heard.
Yeah, of course you would, degenerate.
Hey, in all fairness, I qualified for medical, so you can just suck my left toe.
What is the special treatment?
So
Joke's
you have
on
a
you.
lot in common apparently with Dick Morris now, huh?
Fucking snowflakes. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
All right, yeah. The next story was Maxine Waters.
yeah, half of us will burn in hell. But yeah, so U.S. Representative Maxine Waters and several other members of the
That's
Congressional
right.
Black Caucus,
Laundry money, dude.
sorry, caucus went to.
Yeah,
What?
smoke what you want. I don't care.
Just mute her for the moment.
Yeah, I already. Okay. So Maxine Waters and members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and not the last word I said, went to Silicon Valley this week to demand
Piece of
foreign
cock.
diversity in it. Cabbage, I'm going to mute you next. The caucus met with several tech giants, including Airbnb, Apple, and Twitter, to talk about how to improve the number of diverse employees at some of the country's most profitable businesses. For now, the tech sector still has a diversity problem. In 2017, black people occupied less than 3% of the tech jobs at Facebook, Google, Amazon, and Twitter. At Apple, black employees were at 8%, but none of these companies have black employees represented at an equal rate to the U.S. population.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Okay. So stop you right there. What do you
There's so
mean
much
equal to the?
wrong.
What do you mean according to the population? First off, the population of, I'll even be more politically correct than them, of African Americans in the United States is what, 16%, and that's being nice, or
About 13%.
I know I was being nice, but you break that down. Also, a lot of them are in prison. Let's be real. And that's a fact. Okay, so that takes a chunk
Okay, so
out.
you're
A
down
lot of-
to 8.
A lot of women.
We're down
A
to
lot of the
8%
women are on
now.
welfare. All right, let's take
Yeah.
that one out because they didn't go to college. They got kids. They're at home on state assistance, whatever. I'm not judging. Move on. That busts that down, what, to 5 that went to college? Okay, how many took a tech major in college? Around 2, maybe 3. I think the numbers are adding up here. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but I'd also like to know how many are actually competent. And the thing is, when people say that they're in the tech industry, what the fuck does that even mean anyway? Right? Somebody who works in, a janitor in it's a Google can say that they're working in the tech industry. I mean, what is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, I mean, what is that? Programming, IT work, like.
Exactly. Is it networking, cabling? Is it, doing algorithms? Is it, mathematics?
Well, unlike you racist people, I believe there are a lot of black people in the tech industry. They're called cleaners.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You
we're
see,
racist.
I did mention the janitors. See, I'm inclusive.
Hey, I'll have you know, Janitor was my favorite character on Scrubs. I don't know his fucking name. They just called him Janitor, and he was a pimp. That was medical industry and a TV show.
Well,
but
I
still,
mean, obviously we don't.
You gotta.
The question about why groups are in different areas and not. I mean, are you going to sit up there and start punishing, the overabundance of Asians in the tech industry?
exactly.
Well, also,
yeah.
look, come on, MC, you've got to ask the basic question: are we actually looking to achieve something, or are we just trying to, placate somebody's,
Right. No, you're right about that.
arbitrary bullshit?
Right. No, you're right about that. Glenn, just to let you know, the reason we muted you so we could hear all the background conversation that was going on. So, if you, I don't know what device you're using, but if you can't unmute yourself, just let us know.
Yeah, we just didn't want you to dox yourself.
Yes, exactly. So, but no, I mean, what are you trying to do?
This is the trouble. You see, they don't understand the tech. You see, you got to protect them against themselves. Women's.
you're going down the same road as Voice. That explains quite a bit about you too, Cabbage.
Yeah, do you just not want women to join the Redeye effort? I mean, it's
I
not
love
mansplaining.
women. I love women's on the Redeye if they know how to use their tech.
She fixed her own tech, and you're just gonna dog her now. Good
I
grief.
want to know. I want somebody because then I know I can hook up my Diltonic suit.
But no, I mean, seriously, though, it's the same thing with women in STEM fields. I mean, they choose not to go into those fields. Who's to say what they should choose? It's ridiculous.
Well, and I mean, what if you don't get enough black people in the, quote unquote tech industry? Well, what are you going to do? You're going to go out and start conscripting black people. Like, oh, hey, Tyrone. Oh, what's this? You want to go be a male nurse? Well, not anymore, buddy. Sorry.
Well,
now you have to lay wires on the ground.
If you want other,
welcome to
first of all,
socialism.
okay, what advantage do you have by having a cultural diversity in any specific
Culture,
field?
look, no, but that's the difference. You see, cultural diversity has fuck all to do with productive capacity.
Right.
Right? You can be from any culture. It's got no relevance whatsoever.
From a business
so the idea that you're
from a business perspective, is the business really suffering? Is the industry suffering? I mean, if you, I assume that if you go to like the Congo, which we were just talking about, and you take a look at who's represented in their tech industry, I would venture to say that most of them, all right, probably are African of some sort, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think a lot of this stuff is just nonsense. We should be trying to go, okay, here's the requirements, here are the standards. If you meet the standards, fine. Now, if the problem is there are people that are meeting the standards and being denied work, then yes, then there's a problem. All right, but if
which
people
has
aren't going
happened.
for it,
I mean, it's already.
It has.
But MC, it's demonstrably been proven that they're doing this. Where like, I mean, even now they're saying that women need an extra half hour. I mean, how patronizing is that? Now,
Well, I
Gwen,
agree.
this is like, come on, Gwen, you got to get in on this one, right? I mean, would you really want to think, like, if you get a job, would you want, your co-workers to think that you just got there because, vagina, or because you'd actually achieved something? The idea that you got special treatment to be able to pass the qualifications to get your job.
Well, Cabbage, that's the classic argument against affirmative action to begin with. You're trying to quantify people and say you have to have this quota. No, you hire the best person for the job, and
that's what I'm saying.
Even then, looks and everything else matters. I mean, if I go into an interview, I know I have messed up teeth. All right, I don't go in smiling big. All right, I do the interview, and hopefully they hire me because I'm qualified and not because I have a fucked up grill. Whatever. We all know what we're lacking, and you have to go in with that. If you lose a couple jobs, oh well, there's more. But you can't put a quantity on. I want 10 white people, 15 black, and 3 Asian.
No, that's what socialism is. Socialism is quota-based system. It's got nothing to do with ability. It's about we need X number of people.
The lowest common denominator, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
exactly.
I mean the quotas. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that because, while I was prepping for my debate with Owen McDonald before he flaked out on me like a little cunt. No, technically just once, but. When I was prepping for my debate, I actually found out something very interesting. So the Communist Party in Russia at the time, they would go around and, you could have, what's the term? Is it blue collar workers for like upperclassmen or what have you? Is that the term? Blue collar, white collar, that's stupid shit. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, okay.
I know what a blue collar
workers are people like Captain Coalpile that are working in mines or whatever, doing construction, stuff like that. White collar is these tech jobs we're talking about.
Or anyone who works in an office, anyone who wears a shirt, basically.
Yeah, okay, so that's
anyone
what it was.
Who doesn't get dirty.
A lot of so if you were part of the Communist Party, you could have white collar workers, right? So you could have elite people in your party whose job it was to handle complex matters. But there was a quota for blue collar workers. So you had to have X amount of miners, X amount of farmers, and there was an actual set ratio within the Communist Party that you couldn't infringe on. So if you needed an extra like specialist person, well, you had to go out and you had to just hire a bunch of coal miners just so you could obtain that extra specialist. And so at a certain point, it's debilitating, it's crippling.
Yeah, but it makes no sense to begin with. Yeah, but I mean, even the concept itself, you know, this idea that you arbitrarily say we need X number of this, X number of that. I mean, whatever, you know, shade you put it on, even if it's just, you know, male or female, black, you know, or Asian or whatever it happens to be. I mean, any kind of quota, you want the best person for the job, surely.
Yeah.
That's all it should be. It has nothing to do with your racial. I mean, as a company, you see, companies are becoming like the cultural. Well, but they're becoming very culturally divisive. But you know, they're working. I mean, they're becoming. I don't know. They're almost governmental now in the way in which they're operating. They are making decisions which, in many ways, actually violate the laws because you're not allowed to discriminate, and yet they actively discriminate.
Well, yeah, affirmative action is discriminating.
Well, yeah, but it's not affirmative act. I mean, this is the whole point. It's regressive action. I mean, you now have. I mean, you've seen it with the BBC, right? They put out adverts all the time about. In fact, I saw one. I was on I was checking out some jobs the other day, and there was a job on there on JobServe which said female only. Now that is discrimination. I mean, that's active discrimination.
And it's ridiculous because I bet you anything, if you brought that to the high courts, they would have claimed it was discrimination. I bet you anything.
Well, the BBC have been doing it. I mean, it's not like it's unknown. Look up the BBC, you know, women-only adverts or minority-only adverts. They've done it so many times. Nobody's taken them to court.
No, yeah.
Apparently it's good to go. It's okay. You know, apparently it's just something we got to put up with.
Well, I mean, the BBC is the government. I mean,
yeah,
it's going to be a little.
Oh no, I mean they also include, you know, minority groups only, or I mean they put loads of adverts in, and all of them basically exclude anyone who isn't female, who isn't handicapped, who isn't. Yeah, I mean you can clearly see what they're trying to do. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
Where do you think that's going to head?
Well, absolutely, and. What about other countries and other divisive lines, like Voice of One? What if they started having to put, you know, 10 Protestants and 10 Catholics on the same workforce? What if they had done that? What if they had done that during the height of the fucking so-called Troubles? How would that have gone?
Actually, they've already done it, Mad. You see, it used to be back here, we had the Constabulary of Northern Ireland, right? Now we have the Police Service of Northern Ireland. Basically what happened was that the old police were all told, listen, we need to make it a more even split. So we're going to sack all, basically they give redundancy to, I think, like a third of the force. Basically, these are all the detectives who had years, you know, investigating crimes and stuff. And they made all them redundant to try and make it a 50-50 Protestant Catholic split. So yeah, they've already done that here.
Yeah, well, and one of the other things is they get rid of all the veterans, and you know, that's less money they have to shell out towards pensions and all that. So
yeah, that sounds like a
good strategic move.
Yeah, it sounded like they shedded all their fucking experienced people, though, the ones that could solve crimes. That sounds horrible.
They did, and you know,
like you want crime solved.
You know what the best of it is? They actually ended up having a scheme where they actually brought some of them back. Basically, it was you come back to be a special consultant to teach all these new people how to fucking solve crimes. It was a shit show.
Wow.
It almost completely derailed the peace process because people were not happy and are still not happy about it.
Why would they be?
That's awful.
And Gwendy, if you can't figure out how to unmute it, it's pretty easy. There's just
I
the
figured it out.
microphone thing. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Hey,
Hello, I'm sorry. No, I got distracted by the neighbor lady because
squirrel.
like, well, okay, no. So like I don't smoke in my house, like cigarettes or weed, because I don't like smoke in my house. It bothers me. So I went downstairs, but my front door is like really exposed, but the neighbor's front door isn't. So I just walked over there and I was like, I'm just gonna smoke with you guys. So that ended up being a conversation. I'm sorry.
Well, that's fine. We just didn't want you to dox yourself because we could hear the conversations going in the
Yeah.
background.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why you got muted. No, it's all right. We're just trying to protect your own.
Nope,
You know.
that's totally fine. I appreciate it.
We just didn't want you to think that we were just.
Sorry, well, we don't want to think we were man interrupting you.
No, we do have we do have a guy named
Man,
Manic Idiot who comes on the stream every now and then, and he loves to just mute people at random. So if you ever
That's
see
fine.
Manic Idiot, that's
He's a
But
good
yeah,
guy.
no,
none of that.
But no,
But
what
next
do you-
time, you're on your
You're-
own, dear. You've had
If
your
I-
warning,
if I
right?
remember correctly, you're probably a lot more towards the left than anybody else on the panel. What do
Yeah.
you think about quotas when it comes to work environments? Because
Oh,
like
yeah. Okay. So I heard some of the conversation. So you're talking about like workplace equality and that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a really tough one for me because on the one hand, like, yeah, I see why it's there and I understand it. But on the other hand, you guys are absolutely right. You should be hired based on your merit, not the color of your skin or what's between your legs. That's kind of stupid.
Well, duh. Exactly. So, I
But
mean,
I
what's
get
your
why.
where's your confusion? So, where's your
Okay.
confusion?
Well, I don't have any confusion on it. I have a hard time really, like, how do I explain this? Like I said, I understand why they have those kind of laws in place because you do end up in some places where it is very sexist or very racist, and it's not because of merit.
Where?
But
Where?
I mean,
Where does this happen?
it
Where
mostly
does this
happens in
happen?
smaller businesses.
Cabbage.
Hold on, your blood.
Give her a chance to explain.
Your blood pressure, Cabbage. Hold on.
I mean, it happens more often than you really think. There's a lot of companies that prefer to hire like men over women, or even black people over white people. They have a quota for that as well, and it's frustrating because I get why the laws are there. I understand that it's to bring more diversity. But at the same time, I mean, if a white person is more qualified than a black person, I'm sorry, you hire the more qualified person. It doesn't matter what color
But
their
that's
skin
what I'm
is.
saying. Where does this happen? Where is this idea that you know a person decides to employ
have
a
you not
white person
met
because
racist
of
people?
whiteness? Yeah, but they exist, black or white. You know,
You're
reverse
right.
racism does exist. You know, it's not.
Oh, no,
a
I know.
fallacy, right? So the idea that you think that Jamal isn't going to employ, a mate of his from the hood, same thing's going to happen. So I don't
you're
know.
not wrong.
This idea that it's it's just that somehow it's all about this white, that you're not going to employ someone. And anyway, why would a company do that? Like, if you're a manager, and if you've managed a company or you've been in any position to employ somebody, the last thing you want to do is employ somebody who's going to make you look like a total dick, right? You're not going
But
to
not
employ
everyone thinks
someone
that way.
who's a total fuck up.
But not everyone thinks that way. Just keep in mind, not everyone's as smart as us.
Well, I'm saying it's not. He's not going to be a manager for very long if he doesn't think that way, because he doesn't want somebody who's going to make him look like a fuck up, because then he's going to lose his job as well. The idea that just because you employ somebody that you're not somewhere accountable along the line, that's going to come back and haunt you. Anyone who's ever employed somebody knows that.
But again, that's under the belief that someone is under the same like thought process as like you and me, but not everyone thinks that way.
Well,
And there are some companies that they get away
That's
with
how
it.
companies work. That's how companies work.
But managers tend to want to keep people around that don't cause issues. So if they think, for whatever reason, that hiring person X, Y, or Z is going to create some kind of dynamic or some kind of issue, then they won't hire that. And if people have that attitude of, okay, that person's black, so therefore they're going to cause issues within this group, I don't want the hassle, they won't hire that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but
that does happen.
that could, equally be the case that somebody looks at someone's CV and sees that they live in a certain district and says, "Well, man, I don't like that place."
I don't
That's
disagree with that
that
either.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, it's going to do, because
okay.
people actually have to judge, and that's the thing. And therefore, you don't, if you want to keep your job, you don't employ somebody who's going to, make you look bad. You want somebody who's going to increase production, so you can get some good figures back, and then you can get another promotion, hopefully. Right? That's how it works. People aren't willfully doing this shit.
Here's the thing, okay? So I saw an ad in the paper one time for a job. I needed a job. It was at Burrito Brothers, right? So it's an open interview. You come in, fill out the application, and you see the manager right then and there. I walk in. There's like 4 people in there, me and 3 Mexicans, which is fine. It's, Burrito Brothers, for God's sake. I fill out the application, and I go to give it to them and get my on the list for the next interview, and they go, "Oh, they just look at me and don't even look at the application. Oh, we'll give you a call." I'm like, the paper said open interviews. They're like, "Yeah, well, we're full." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I go to walk out, I look behind me, and he throws my application away.
Well, there you go. Because he filled his quota. He already had the quota inside the door.
It's because I was white, man.
It was because he was white.
But whatever. I didn't go protest and raise a stink. I went and applied somewhere else.
Yeah, but the thing is,
somewhere else.
I had the same experience and the weird thing is, it was for the National Health Service, and I was there with some, with contractors, and this is so weird. They get you to do, this is fucking bizarre. They actually get you to do things like numeracy and literacy tests and things like that. It's just bizarre. They have this standardized format that you have to go through. This is what regulation is. Now we're going in as contractors, and you're still expected to do these silly little tests. Now the weird thing was that the pass rate is 30%. Yeah, sorry, it's not 30%. 30 out of 40 or something. I got 38 out of 40. And I was told that I wasn't welcome.
Well, that's because you're a cabbage. You're like, fuck this cabbage.
I do have to point
38 out of 40.
I do have to point
But
out
the thing
that,
is, I walked out of there, and the thing is, there were people who stayed who'd got 30, and because the pass was 30. There were other people, and the only reason they could say is because they didn't appreciate, they didn't agree with my reasoning for wanting to work within the NHS.
What was your reasoning?
My reasoning was I thought it was a fucking great institution, born out of the World War II and things like that, that it was a great collaborative thing. I thought I was being very fucking touchy-feely, but apparently not touchy-feely enough. Well, no, I think it's probably because of the color of my skin. I didn't match a quota requirement.
Well, but here's the thing.
But that's what I'm saying, right? And this is only just to do a contractor position, right? That's the stupid thing about it. It's not even as if they were committing to my long-term employment or whatever. And they're willing to throw somebody out who gets 38 out of 40 on their ridiculous, questionnaires and tests. And then you got them keeping somebody who's got 30, but happens to be wearing a sari.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing you guys are discounting. Even if it is racism to blame, well, don't you have anti-discrimination laws? So even if you do,
yes, we do, but they're not applied.
But how do you prove it?
But they're not applied evenly.
Yeah, you don't even have to prove it. All you have to do is suspect it.
Yeah, but
the company will do an internal investigation.
Yes, but they can't when it's an application. And the thing is, Gwen, you're absolutely correct, right? Because you can show the fact that has happened, but there is no way in which you can get any kind of recourse to it.
Well, because you can't necessarily prove that they disqualified you based on the color of your skin, because they didn't specifically give you a valid reason other than we chose someone else. They don't tell you why. So how do you prove that? But you know it.
And Gwen, the reason that they gave me as to why, no, this is the slimy fucking excuse they gave, is because they didn't agree with this little thing that you had to write about why you want to work for them. They said that wasn't acceptable. Doesn't matter whether you're actually competent, right? You get one of the highest scores. Doesn't matter. you are not accepted because your reasons for wanting to work with them weren't acceptable.
That just seems shady as fuck.
You see? Oh yeah, it is. It's totally shady. I wish I'd
Kevin.
recorded the thing. I would have sent it into the into a news, but then again, they wouldn't fucking report on it because everything's fucking socialist.
Or they've listened to one of these streams or have met you.
That's distinctly possible too.
That's funny.
Well, either way, I still got, I was still in the upper echelons of the test. They just didn't like my reasoning.
Well, no, and the thing is, though, I knew I was being discriminated against at that job, but it was a shitty fucking minimum wage job anyway. And who would listen to the white guy complaining about discrimination? Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, well, apparently you don't know that, Mad Dog.
No, the thing was, I said it to them at the time. I said, this is quotas. I actually said it to them. I said, this is quotas. If I passed and they basically scraped by, and you're throwing me out, this is about quotas. And they wouldn't look me in the eye. They really wouldn't.
Well, no.
They were actually embarrassed. They were embarrassed to tell me. No.
If you had caught that on camera, that'd be proof. But your word versus theirs, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. I know, like I said, I wish I'd recorded it.
Well,
but no, they were embarrassed. And like I said, this is the whole problem. We are going away from merit and we're going to this quota system. And it has we are killing the very heart of what makes, why you end up with, why we are communicating today. This didn't come out of quota systems. It came out of people who were competent and capable and able to do a job and actually put the fucking, they put their balls to the wall and actually made it happen.
Well, and 40, do you have anything else?
We're not going to have it
anymore.
Pathetic.
Well, 40, it sounded like you had something to say there, and then Cabbage continued on with his point. So if you got something else to add, go ahead. If not, then let's move on to the next story.
No.
All right, so the next story comes from the Washington Post. So the Senate Intelligence Panel agrees with the U.S. intel agencies that Russia did intervene in 2016 to help Donald Trump. Come on. How long are we going to drag this Mo Russia thing on? It's getting a little old, isn't it? MC,
Did you read the article?
I read part of it, not the whole thing yet, but I have the link open.
Basically, what the Senate panel is saying isn't that they agree that it was there to help Donald Trump. They're just not arguing with the intel assessment. So the idea that there was things that helped Donald Trump or would have helped Donald Trump or could be seen as helping Donald Trump, right? Yeah, okay. But as far as like hacking, all of that, it still remains unresolved because the DNC didn't get hacked as far as we know. We don't know if it was a leak or if it was a hack. Nobody in the intel community has seen the servers, all right, except for Hillary's servers after it was bleach bit and the other equipment was absolutely destroyed. So nobody knows anything about where any of that information comes from. And that's where you're at with this. Now, as far as the Senate, this is more the Senate saying we're part of the good old boy system. We get along here. Okay. If you take a look at a lot of the things that have been happening in the Senate, there's a number of people in the Senate that, quite frankly, hate them. Right?
Well, who's on the intelligence panel for the Senate? Do you know? I can Google that real quick if need be.
The big one is Mark Warner, and he's a Democrat from. I can't think where he's.
I thought Wyden was on there also, senator from Oregon.
He could be. I mean, the panel, obviously the senators have similar panels that the House does, but they don't have nearly as many members. So the number of panels that they're on personally is expanded. So it comes down to, well, just how much time are you really going to spend in an investigation, which is one of the reasons why investigations tend to be more thorough and have a lot more information in the House, simply because members can devote a hell of a lot more time, 5 times the amount of time in the Senate.
Absolutely. And 40, I think you shared this story. Did you have any thoughts on it?
No, I pretty much agree with MC.
Wendy, what do you think? Do you think there was anything to this Russia intervention into the election? I don't see it. I see a bunch of internet trolls that could have been paid for by Russia, maybe, but they're internet trolls. Come on. Have
I
you been
don't
on a
have
dating
enough
site? How many
information or
bots?
knowledge. Oh my god, no, don't start with me. I don't know how, like, I don't have a whole lot of information on it. I didn't really follow it too closely. I wouldn't be shocked if it ended up actually being true, but I don't have enough information to make an informed opinion, unfortunately.
Guys, it's weird that, Americans are discussing this at the same time that, what's his name? Emmanuel Macron, that they've created a party from France that is intending to overturn the Brexit vote. So what, your politics is being influenced by Russia, ours is being influenced by everyone's influenced by everybody, right? That's what they do. That's
Well, no, Cabbage. I
serious.
want to agree with you exactly, because we're now in the internet age. We are influencing everybody all around the world. Hell, my tiny ass YouTube channel gets views from fucking all over the world. We had some dude from the Middle East shouting about fucking killing the Israelis on the last show. I mean, what the fuck?
Holy Jesus.
Yeah, like in the chat.
Why? That's not cool.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
things can get kind of freaky in this channel.
Whatever. I like that guy. The moderators are like, should we kick him? I'm like, nah, let him go.
This channel can be a little bit off the rails.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, if something starts getting a little bit
Basically,
overly rambunctious.
When the
History
Monday
with these-
Red Eye is more raw than Monday Night Raw.
No, you see, what these chaps won't say, Gwendy, because they're too scared to, is that we have no problem gossing Jews on this channel.
Oh my gosh.
No, that's you.
Right.
You're the one with the
Yeah,
ovens stockpiled. I'm actually very nice. to
It's
you.
not the ovens aren't the problem, it's the fuel.
And it continues.
Oh God.
One
Where's MC
day,
when you need him? Or memes?
one day,
Where's
Well,
MC?
MC
I'm
here.
right here.
yeah,
You
he's,
want me to add to this now?
No.
he's grabbing the coal.
Oh.
Well, the problem is you guys need to use good quality ovens. You need to go to Sears. That's the problem.
You gotta go rotisserie if you're gonna do it with any kind of stuff.
Oh, all right.
Oh God.
All right, so that's
By the way, the party,
Um,
the party I was talking about is called the Renew Party. If you look it up, that one is that's a French government, under Macron. They are actually funding a party in the UK. They're funding it in order to overthrow try and reverse the Brexit vote, or to get a second referendum, whatever. The Renew Party, look it up. Now, when people moan about the Russians, that one might have been a few fucking hackers and things like that, fucking about with some bots and, posting messages. This is the French government is actively seeking to overturn our referendum. Think about that.
Even the U.S. government has interfered with people's elections before.
Well, yeah, like anyone surprised with that? Yeah.
If anybody doubts that, you
God
can take
almighty.
a look at the elections in Chile in the TRW's interference. Right. In fact,
Are you shitting me? I can't even believe that you're saying it. Everybody knows it.
Well, because everybody does it, Cabbage. These younger kids, I'll bet Gwen never heard about that.
About what?
About the TRW thing in Chile.
You don't know the way.
Wait, do you know how old I am?
You know the way. You don't know the way.
No, I don't know how old you are.
That's okay. I actually don't know anything about. I'm not that was probably way before I actually knew anything about world politics and stuff.
Okay, fuck you. You just proved his point.
Hey, no, I'm old. I'm old. But I come from a tiny town.
I have a feeling I'm older than everybody on the panel.
How old are you?
I'm 55.
You are older than me.
Yeah. You've only got 6 on me, so don't get too shysty.
Okay, then I'm young. I'm sorry.
But I do not do it.
I feel so little now. Holy shit.
I used to know the way, but Alzheimer's took it away.
I know do it.
Oh Lord.
That's why we still don't have a space laser.
Okay, so Cabbage. Now you
Yeah.
can't even eat a breakfast in Britain without it being racist. Tell us about this bullshit, man. I
What?
do have the article.
Yeah, the full English breakfast. You're not allowed to use the word English in a breakfast.
What?
Frightening, isn't it?
So then
Yeah,
what
but,
happens
I
to
mean,
English
you know,
muffins?
Well, we never call them English muffins. We just call them, muffins.
They just called them muffins.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We didn't need to prefix it.
Are you blonde?
Maybe.
Well, definitely light. I don't know. Are you dying?
No.
Check the roots.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Get
Yeah,
on with the
it's
story,
bizarre.
Cabbage.
It really is. Yeah, well, I mean, no, that's the idea that you could say that, just because it's got the word English in it, that inherently it must be
Well, explain what the
oppressive to
full
somebody.
English breakfast is, and explain a tiny bit.
I'll tell you what a full English breakfast is. It's bacon, sausage, tomato, mushrooms,
I have
black
one.
pudding. No wine involved. You have a cup
Oh,
of
no,
tea.
no, no. I'm gonna
Fried
have
bread.
I can tell you what the
And
English
eggs,
breakfast is.
right? And
It's
eggs, that's the-
nope. It's an
Oh yeah, no,
inferior.
you got and eggs, fried eggs. You got 2.
No, the
Okay, so what you're
Eng-
telling me is you're having like the big breakfast at like fucking Perkins. Okay.
Oh no,
No,
but it's
No, it's an
yeah, but you don't
everyday
have black
breakfast.
pudding. It's a very specific thing.
No,
It has
the
to
English, the full English breakfast is an inferior copy of the Ulster fry.
Of the what?
Oh bullshit! You just mash up everything.
Well, no,
That's
and
bubble and squeak.
I was
Or-
also talking about
What's the Ulster fry?
Well, the Ulster fry is basically fried soda bread, fried pancake, fried bread, beans, tomatoes, mushrooms, bacon, sausages, black and white pudding, and a cup of tea.
It's
I do
bubble
not
and
know none
squeak.
of these things.
It's bubble and squeak.
Well,
There's
and
nothing
what is-
better than that? It's
No,
like
it-
it's basically like leftovers that you just fry up together. That's
Well,
not the
Cabbage-
same thing at all.
Cabbage,
Don't
I was
use
talking about
culture to poke at
gammon.
me.
I was talking about gammon also. I put the link in the side chat. So what's up with the gammon whole situation?
Yeah, gammon is gay. Yeah,
What is gammon?
gammon.
Oh my
ham.
god. You don't know what gammon is?
No, we're
Honestly,
American
Americans,
idiots.
they are frightening.
Yes, but she is a woman. She has
Scary
cooked
creatures.
some point in time.
No. Point, poking a microwave does not equate to cooking.
I can make ramen. Does that count?
Oh, look, Abby, I made you your dinner.
Shut up! I fried sandwiches earlier.
Bing! Your sandwiches. You got some sandwich action going on.
Yeah, I made fried turkey and pesto sandwiches. They were great.
Wow.
Shut up!
Connoisseur.
I know, right?
Okay, we'll say what gammon is, and let's
Yeah,
talk
sort
about
of.
why it's racist now.
Yes, well, anyway, yeah, apparently a slice of meat can now be racist.
How?
Or no, sorry. Well, I don't know. Is it racist or is it?
No.
I don't know. I don't know what the
Actually,
fuck it's meant to be.
No, actually, the story of the gammon is about how the leftist twats have now decided that anybody who's white, middle class, or up above middle class who play golf apparently are gammon. Basically, it's
Oh yes,
they're trying
classist.
they're trying to create a word like nigger, but apparently, what you never heard that word before? You're
No.
American.
Yes,
No,
you've made sense of it, mate. Finally, I understand what the purpose is. They've tried to create a word like they've tried to create an offensive word. The people who are the most fucking,
You chased her away.
sensitive and everything.
It wasn't my fault. Hang on. There's a thing in The Guardian, is where I heard it from. I'll just link it if I can find it.
The Guardian,
Oh,
aren't they
fuck
like
it.
very left leaning?
You
It
double
was by
Oh, we thought Voice actually ran you off.
No, God, no. Something went stupid, and I'm sitting here trying to eat ice cream and do this at the same time.
Are you sure?
When you go to
I know.
to Alt Tab.
Sorry, but I'm thinking MS.
Oh.
I think it's definitely MS. Just that double click thing going on.
Is this like how they're also trying to like weaponize the left by preventing trains from selling the Daily Mail too? Is this a part of their whole campaign?
Well, they have done that, yeah.
I feel like it would cause Daily Mail subscriptions to go up just for
Nobody would give a shit. Nobody cares because nobody reads the newspapers.
Okay, you British people, Voice and Image, what the fuck is going on? I've said this before, but what is going on in your country, man?
We have no idea. We're totally confused too, mate. It's all a shitstorm. Honestly, I'd love to tell you that we had some idea if we had an idea what was going on, we'd know how to fucking counteract it.
Well, no, I saw a story the other day that I didn't choose to cover because it was just so stupid, but it kind of fits right here. There's a paper, or there was an op-ed out in Britain that was saying this is the number of people that voted or leave that have died. In other words, they want a new vote because the people that voted to leave the EU are now dying off. What kind of
because they're old geezers and they're all assholes?
Do you not remember? I said this to you. I mean, I was saying this when I was on the Ogre channel. I said they are going to play this because they figure if they can play the time, they will work on the basis that they're releasing a whole bunch of fucking social justice lunatics out of universities, in the next 2 years. The amount of people who are going to die are going to be, are obviously going to tilt the balance. And that's how they're going to get the second referendum.
But that's a false dichotomy.
That's what's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen because your population isn't growing at a fast enough rate.
Yeah, but the thing is, but if you know the amount of people, if you take out the number of people who died off in the last period compared to the amount of people who've gone into the voting age.
Yeah, but how many people win?
That will tip the balance.
How many people win from?
And also, by the way, don't forget the amount of people that we've also had to import, through
Well, yes.
obligations.
If it wasn't for importing, your negative birth rate would just make the country more conservative. So they have to rely on Merkel's policy of letting everybody, including the kitchen sink, into everybody's country in order to give themselves a voting base.
They are
however, that tactic is going to backfire because, granted, this is making an assumption that the data is going to be similar in Britain. But if you look at Gen Z, the post-millennial generation, they swing the pendulum back to the right of center.
In America,
I think the same thing is going to happen in Britain. I think they're just a couple of years behind.
Yeah, but the trouble is, a couple of years is going to fuck it all up because we don't have a couple of years. We've got to stop this thing before it happens.
You're gonna but if they ignore these cries for rebellion and they're like, yeah, I don't care about this whole idea of trying to save the EU, then they're not going to be able to indoctrinate enough people. It's not going to get the pendulum to swing back far enough.
Yes, but it doesn't matter. You see, if they go for a revote and enough people have died and they've managed to import enough people and they've got a bunch of, loony lefties that have come out of the universities, which they have. Okay, and all of them know they haven't got a fucking career, but they believe that Europe's going to save them for some reason, whatever, maybe subsidies. Then, they are going to get the revote.
No, but what I'm saying is medicine's getting better. They're not going to die off quick enough. So by the time ZN becomes the age of majority to vote,
I don't think so.
They're going to run out of time. The window.
They're playing the numbers game, mate. They're playing the numbers game. Why do you
The
think
playing
they
the
were
numbers
so
game is
pissed about
not
the
that
fact?
in their favor.
Look,
It's not as much as in
they-
their favor as you think it is.
look at the import that happened prior to the referendum. When the referendum was announced, the
But I think
government
the
was
imports
kind
are
of
gonna
surprised. Yeah, but
Well,
the government was surprised by the amount of people who were happy with it, and then they suddenly agreed to an enormous amount of people to come into the country because they knew damn well that those are the people who are not going to vote to refuse admission to this country because they wanted to bring their family members and everyone else, right? So they imported, I think it was about, what was it, 1.8 million people
the thing to
over about
remember
a 3-year
for
period, 2-year period.
the,
It was an enormous amount. I mean, just a
Zach,
ridiculous amount. We didn't have the housing to put
Zach,
these people in.
the thing to remember is that the bureaucracy in Great Britain has a different place and has a far more power than the bureaucracy does in the United States. While both are significant, both have power, the legislative power and the executive power in the United States is completely different than what they have in Britain.
Yes, I know. It's a constitutional monarchy. I understand how their system works a lot more in the favor of the current vote. I understand how the House works and how the Prime Minister is elected. I understand how that could tip things in their favor. I understand that.
I know they're playing the numbers. There's no doubt about
I'm
it.
telling you,
I
it's
said
how
this,
you're-
like I said this 2 years ago. I said this is how they're going to play it out. Once Theresa May refused to issue Article 50 on the day that the referendum happened, and then she waited 8 months, and then she wanted a general election. She's doing everything she can to fuck it up, and all they want to do is pad the numbers because they are determined to maintain Britain within the European Union against the will of the people.
Wait a minute.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're worried about
I
trade
really
deals.
I know
don't know.
very
I
little
wish
about
I knew.
Brexit, other than it's a thing and it sounds funny. That's about all I know about it.
Well, it is our own government working against the interests of against the will of the people. That's the problem, and that's why it's a thing that you know about. That otherwise it wouldn't be something you know about.
Basically, if you
Pokemon.
don't live in London, people want Brexit. That's basically
pretty
what's
much.
happening.
Yeah, we're
And
gonna
even
we're
people
gonna
who
be
used to
going
live in
back.
London want it, but they've been
We're
priced
gonna-
out of their own home.
We're heading back to the Toll Puddle Martyrs.
Basically.
Well, it's going to happen if we want to make any difference because they don't seem to pay any fucking attention. When you give them a referendum, you give them a mandate, they fuck it up. It's like, we're giving you a mandate, do it. And they still won't do it. They try and find any way that they can to fail to do it.
And that's the kind of the thing that I saw with the embassy move is they had passed that way back in 95 and they just sat on it forever. And then finally the president does it and now everybody gets mad. Well, what about Brexit? Are they going to put that off for 25 years? By that time, is anybody going to be around to make it happen? I mean,
what do you mean? That's the point.
To make the embassy move.
But that's the thing. This is exactly what they've done. Originally the Brexit was, they should have issued the Article 50 the day that, at least, midnight of the referendum to say we're leaving. But no, Theresa May had to wait for 8 months, right? So you got an 8-month delay before you even start issuing Article 50. Then you have to wait for another 2 years before anything fucking happens, in which time they managed to fuck up the whole process beyond recognition. Holding a general election, which is a massive mistake. They've done everything to disable the process. They're doing everything they can to go against the will of the people.
The mistake was trying to bring back fox hunting and all this other dumb shit.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The general election was a massive mistake on the fact that you do not take a non-partisan thing like a referendum. The referendum was totally non-partisan. Okay? That's the point about it. A referendum is just, do you want to do this or do you want to do that? That's a very clear distinction. She thought that she could capitalize on that. That was a fucking tactical mistake, and she called a general election on the back of. And then the thing she made the European issue again a partisan issue. And it's the whole point of the referendum is it's not partisan. She fucked it up and she knew what she was doing. Oh, I mean, if she didn't, then she's fucking incompetent.
Well, I believe that, the latter rather than the former. I think Theresa May is incompetent. I don't think she's that clever. She's not playing 3D chess. She's just incompetent.
Playing 2D chess.
Well, she's playing fucking checkers as well. I was going to say, you stole my joke, Zach. Damn it. But no, Captain Coldpile in the chat says, Captain Coldpile in the chat says, you guys should be out by now. Well, is there a way that you could be out by now? What about a hard Brexit? Just, we're done. We're out. Fuck off.
Oh, yeah, technically we could. Yeah, absolutely. Technically we could. I mean, they claim that we owe them 40 billion or whatever they want. You know, they can make any claims that they want. But yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. And what are they going to do?
Rebuild the Commonwealth. Get your trading partners back.
And that's the whole point. We already have 40 other countries beyond the Commonwealth. So we got 52 countries in the Commonwealth. So you add another 40 countries. So we got 94 countries. 92 countries that are basically waiting to trade with us. And we already have, you know, like pretty much. I mean, everyone knows, right? It's not like it's going to be difficult to make a trade deal because these documents are not exactly unique. You just have to, you know, change the name of the, you know, proprietor or whatever. You know, you only have to modify documents.
British products.
Yeah.
Diageo with Smirnoff, Johnny Walker. I mean, people want British booze. Trust me, we're lining up for it.
And the thing is, it's only going to damage Europe, right? Because then they impose what, an embargo on Britain? Like that would have to be their response if they wanted to be little.
That's an act of war.
Well, no, I mean, no, it wouldn't have to be. No, there's no embargo, isn't it? So fine, you fucked up your entire auto industry.
Well,
they'll go bankrupt. They can't afford. Plus, they want an extra. They're having to support Greece for what it's worth. I mean, if there's anything left of it, they got Spain, they got Portugal. All of these things are a drain on the German economy. Well, just bankrupt the fuckers to death.
Well, does France have a navy that could actually do a blockade?
Right. The French. Yeah, right. You want to rely on?
No, America still has 99 years. 99 years, remember? So I think we still have some French ports and German ones. I don't know when that 99 years is up, but we still have at least another 10.
Well, whatever it is, when the French start getting feisty, get the fuck out of there because you know they're going to shoot you in the back.
Well, if they try to fuck with the American Navy, that's going to be a big mistake.
Well, yeah, but they're stupid. They did that to us, and we demolished their entire fucking, you know, their force in World War II.
Well, good. Then maybe it's Macron's downfall.
We sunk their entire fleet.
Well, Voice, you've been quiet for a minute, dude. What do you think? Should you guys did a hard Brexit and been out by now? Or do you like taking it slow, the May style?
Do you like it slow? Is that what you that was kinky, man.
I know.
Wow.
That was.
I feel like I need an adult.
Okay, so if it
you
was
like
me,
it slow, voice.
If it was me, I would go for a hard Brexit by launching every missile from our naval fleet upon the EU, the UN building. That's what I would do to show them how much I want a hard Brexit.
The UN building.
So or
the kill the Americans.
No, the EU.
No, he's talking about the EU building in Brussels.
Yeah,
he wants everything named at Brussels.
No, on the UN building on France.
No. You're not bombing New York City. That's a bad idea.
And anyone that is not
bad idea. UN building in New York City, not a good idea.
Zachary, anyone who isn't British gets a bullet.
Ow.
All right.
It's on. That's now you see that. See, there's a policy I can get behind.
You guys tried that twice, and now you want round 3 after complaining that we were late for the last 2 wars.
Well, you were late for the last 2 wars. The thing is, this time, we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, you're
better late. Better late than never.
You bomb New York, you'll even have the libertarians calling for British blood.
Please, that was
No, MC, all we have to do is show a few videos of dead babies, and California will just give in to us.
I'm really uncomfortable by that comment.
Luckily, you have a bunch of red states surrounding it. You got
that was enough to make me stop eating ice cream. Thanks.
They have their guns ready to push back.
No, why would I like dead babies? Why?
First of all, if the British reinvade, and they take California, it's like,
please take it.
40, you ready to be a British citizen? They want you.
When you realize that there are eggs.
I hope you guys learn how to speak Spanish.
No, we won't be able. No, we won't.
I know, we already do, because we go on holiday to Spain every summer. That's the whole point.
Yep.
We get drunk. We can order beer. We're good. We're good to go.
No, actually, you're talking about the UN building, and that part of the American ambassador is counted as American. So, let's be honest here. Trump wants out of the UN as well. So, will he really take it thick enough to attack? You know, he might just go, we'll
renegotiate.
He would have to, because that's considered American soil, and then anything that would be an act of terror towards that.
We'll renegotiate the movement of the UN headquarters to either, I don't know. North Korea sounds good this time of year.
Yeah, and I wonder how many billions that's going to cost, because they're going to ask for it to be deconstructed and rebuilt.
Well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. We could give it back, just hand it over to Canada.
Hand it to Quebec. They need industry. They're desperate for it.
Well, they just need a sense of identity.
I blew up my phone. Shit, where did I get cut off?
Nowhere. We're trying to move the UN to Quebec.
Can I ask
we're talking about lesbians abused by...
Gwen, why are you using your phone and not a computer?
I don't own a computer, and because we just moved, we don't have internet yet. So Drew doesn't have his computer hooked up to the internet because we ain't got it yet.
Okay. You guys were talking about freaking, the British reinvading. Well, this guy right here, MC, believes the British should have won. Democratic candidate for senator. What's the point of the American Revolution? So Richard Painter here on Wednesday tweeted out, what was the point of the revolution if subjects of the British Crown get single-payer health care and university education at a fraction of what it costs us, and we are stuck with a president guilty of treason, bribery, and other crimes, and a Congress unwilling to get rid of him? All right, so this guy is running for the Senate in Minnesota. Yeah, he's running in Minnesota.
Wait, who is he? Who is he? What's his name?
Richard Painter.
Why do I not know who that is then?
Because you're a millennial.
Fucked him yet. Give it time.
He believes that
he'll get around to it eventually.
What was the point of the American Revolution, MC 40 ounce? Come on, guys. What was the point?
Hold up. If you look at his Twitter bio,
2 years
later, all right. And he's declared himself a candidate. That doesn't mean that he's not even. If I'm not mistaken, they're running the election for the replacement for Frank, right? Al Franken.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they ran that bomb out.
Yeah, right. Dude, shut up. Al Franken was great.
Also, this guy is a professor at the University of Minnesota. He's a professor of law, and he is part of the White House Ethics Council.
That's just plain funny.
Wow.
That's in his Twitter bio.
Well, he may have been under the Ethics Council for Obama. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
He makes
just
point,
the concept.
But I mean, no.
MC, could you tell the guy in the Harley to stop driving past your house?
I don't know where she lives.
Oh, she, huh? That's the mistress driving by.
Oh, sorry, it must be Gwen. It must have been driving past Gwen's house. Sorry.
Yes. Notice when she muted it, it all went away.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, but seriously, what was the point of the American Revolution? 40. How loud was that statement?
Mad, do you really think 40 is going to go against, this this viewpoint, since he does live in California? He would welcome the British back.
Yeah. No. I mean, really, how much better off are you? I mean, it's kind of hard to gauge that. I mean, I have AIDS, but I mean, you have Jeremy Corbyn, so give and take here.
He has AIDS, and he's looking to spread.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Is Corbyn? How comparative is Corbyn to AIDS? Let's be honest here.
That's all. Well, it depends whether or not you get Bernie Sanders. Maybe the Bernie Sanders. The two can collide. Maybe something good can come of it.
No. If I was running for office, which I'm not right now, but if I did run, you could pull a lot of sound bites off of my show, but you could never pull anything as stupid as that tweet off of my show from my mouth. Anyway, I'm not counting whatever the fuck Savage says.
You want to bring back some of the secession comments you've made?
Yeah.
Those would be great. I'm putting those on bumper stickers, dude.
You could definitely do some memes.
I'm gonna get the left's vote in the next election because they want to secede because of Trump. So yeah, it's all good. I got my angle worked out. Me and Memes have been working on it. No.
I tell you, you've turned your entire political system into a sideshow. Quite frightening.
Oh, anyway, like
that.
Gwen, it clearly is.
Gwen, you've been accidentally muted by the Jew.
Yeah, who's the Jew?
You have to unmute yourself or have Maud do it.
I don't think I can.
Who Jewed her?
Yeah, I can't.
Sorry, my phone was in my pocket.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that's the most ridiculous statement, especially since I'm a history buff, that I've ever heard. Like 200 years of history of the American fucking country. Oh, fuck it. We have Trump now. Throw it all away.
Look, there are countries that use the metric system, and there are countries that have landed on the moon.
I know, right? Standard for the win.
There we fucking go.
What,
normally I would agree with you, but then again, we've also freaking crashed into Mars several times.
That was because you couldn't convert the metric system.
That was true.
No, actually, can I just say something serious here? The reason you crashed into Mars is because, for some reason, a certain group of your scientists thought the best way to land on Mars was to actually crash into it. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, they've been let go.
Been let go.
Yeah, they're working at the. They're not working at NASA anymore. They're working at NOAA now. They're part of the climate committees.
They're working at the Alien Hotel at Area 51.
They're asking, do you want fries with that?
No, they're working for SpaceX for Elon Musk. Experimental landings that fail.
Yeah. I still don't understand the concept.
Wait a minute, though. SpaceX did good just the other day. They fired off a rocket that's strong enough to take humans up, and they also landed it, I believe. So
they sent something up. So that's a surprise. Fucking Apollo 11. I mean, Jesus,
that's their brand new. They use a brand new Falcon 3 rocket.
Who gives a shit? Yeah, the thing is, and because the only thing that's impressive about it is that you get this little sideshow when it comes back. But as I was saying to MC the other day, how many times can you possibly utilize that? It's not going to be reusable in any, you know, I mean, it's going to degrade with every usage. It's going to be worse than the, I mean, if you're looking at failure rates, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do when they reuse these things. Because like,
Well,
I'm betting on the fact.
You don't think private companies are going
I'm-
to fail more because they're able to take more risks? I accept
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just
for
saying
the
that Elon Musk
advancement.
is. Yeah, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying he's making a fucking stupid decision. Yeah, the way he's doing it, I think it's a fucking retarded thing that you want to bring the shells back. You'd be far easier if you just parachuted them back.
No,
And
I
then
think NASA
they wouldn't have the same kind of stress fractures and things like that. You might get a couple of extra, uses out of them. But this idea of, somehow it's impressive that they can vertically land. It's a it's a gimmick. That's all it is. MC, come on. You know this is true, right?
I will take private or semi-private, I'll be fair, semi-private industry over public NASA any day.
Well, fine. If they want to piss their money away, let them piss their money away. But don't stick a person on it, because that's that's when it becomes dangerous. On this risky escapade, because they have no idea what the stress factors are going to be on. Whether it's
do you know how many people signed up to take a one-way trip to
Yes, I
Mars?
do, and I hope they've all got purple hair, and we can fuck them all off.
Well, people will sign up to work for these private companies, and they will advance the space industry far more than a public entity like NASA with all its bloated bureaucracy ever could.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying, hey, look, but that's the point. I'm not knocking. I'm knocking SpaceX with the bullshit that they're doing, but that doesn't mean that I'm promoting NASA, right? You're thinking that because I'm saying one is bad, that the other one is good. That's not the case.
What's the other one? There's SpaceX, and then there's another.
There's Virgin Galactic, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Bob, have you not learned, from a certain group called Yatani? We all know what happens when corporations end up controlling space. Do you really want that, sir?
I prefer the private market. It could end up bad, but it would end up far worse with governments. Can you imagine the next war erupting on the moon? The Russian call versus the fucking American? That'd be fun.
Why did they cancel the moon exploration? Right, they still want to go forward with Mars, but they won't touch the moon. Why is that? Have they discovered
because
that it really
there's nothing there?
Is that what it is? Well, there is. There's helium-3, and that's meant to be good for reactors.
They think there's helium-3. They
found it.
They found certain things that make them believe that it exists there. Not that they actually found it. No, they did.
They went through a spectrographic thing. It was spectrographically tested.
Helium-3 would float if they could look at it on a spectrograph. It would float off of the frickin' scape moon immediately. All right.
I'm talking about atomic absorption. When you put it through an atomic absorption machine, they had one of those on one of the probes that went up there. So they've done the atomic absorption process. You can see it on the spectrographic.
But they say that what is there could be from a lot of different sources, and they're estimated. They don't know.
It doesn't matter where it came from. Who gives a shit where it came from?
Well, it does if there's only a few freaking molecules of it. What freaking? How good is it going to be?
Well, yeah, that's why you need to go out and speculate, right? I mean, isn't that what the old Western thing was? Move west, my son. Adventure. Discover, find out. Why wouldn't you go back to the moon? Potential. They see the one thing is that there's a potential for something. That's all it used to take.
Well, the potential for Mars is much higher than what could be on the moon.
Yeah, but if you're going to go there, you need to test your shit before you start trying to attempt that. Actually, no, if it's purple people, fucking send them off. I don't give a shit. I mean, don't even test the rockets. they want to go out and send their fucking utopia, you know, their purple people utopia, then yeah, send them
The
off.
purple people, huh?
Yeah.
Don't forget the blue haired people as well.
Blue, purple, I don't give a shit. Any of them tainted.
And Californians send to him as well. No offense.
No, I
for
still
him.
like the idea of letting the ethno state them, black
No.
ethno state, white, all of them. They could all go to Mars.
You're roboting bad, man. I couldn't even hear a word you said.
Oh, and he's gone.
He'll
Gwen,
go back.
what do you think about the purple people?
I have no idea what to think. I'm so confused.
Well, you know what the
One of
people,
them.
you know what the purple people are.
Nope.
Well, you know the hideous creatures that are, you know, the SJW, you know, people.
She's one of them. What are you talking about?
Well, you can see that she certainly has a lip piercing. You can see the hole. So she's
I have
already
2 lip
managed
piercings
to,
and a
corrupt
nose ring
herself.
and tattoos.
Yeah.
And you dye your hair purple, right?
I do not dye. I
Your
do not
parents
dye
must
my
be
hair
so
funny
proud.
colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
No.
you stick shit through your face. That's good. 'Cause,
I'd
you know,
rather have the
makes
metal
you
through my face than the
African.
funny colors on my head because my mother won't kill me for the funny colors on my head.
So basically, you just want to piss your mother off.
I mean, she doesn't like the piercings or tattoos either, but at least she won't get mad at me for my hair because I can cover the other stuff up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you
Well,
said.
I'm sorry, but you can't because you haven't got any of them here, and I already knew that you had two because you can see them. It's not like
Yeah, in my
piercings
picture,
that
but
are
I can
hidden.
take them out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You still see that you've got them.
If you look hard enough. Why are you looking that close at my face? Stop it.
He's that
Yeah,
desperate. Don't you understand that the 2 Brits are that desperate?
Me,
I guess.
me. I've been fapping for an hour. You didn't know.
Wow. A millennial with parental issues. Never heard that one before.
Oh god.
All right.
I'm wildcatting here.
If my mic's working better now, I was saying I still agree with the whole idea of sending the ethno state people to Mars. Let them fight it out over there.
Oh no.
And
Not on Mars. If you're going to send the ethno people anywhere, put them on Mercury.
No, I think they need a bigger project.
Put them on Mercury. Put them right on the little cusp where they're right in the middle of the wonder zone, where on one side it's blazing hot and the other side is blazing cold. Let them find a little sweet spot, and they can live in that 4x4 square area as it circles the frickin' planet.
I still think Venus.
I was going to be
women are from
nice.
men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Oh my
Shove
god.
them on Venus.
I was going to be nice.
And let's see how long they last.
Titan. What about the Moon Titan? The ethno state people we could just split it in half. They could just split the whole moon in half.
Yes, but which ethno?
All of them. All of them. I'm saying all the ethno state.
Well,
get rid of all of the crazy racist people. Let them fight it out on.
oh, you mean the social justice loonies?
No, well, that's what you were saying.
Right, the
purple
social
hair
justice,
people.
all of them. I don't care. Just from all
Yeah,
of
but
them.
they are
Yeah.
ethno state people, right? I mean, that's what we identified the other week. When I mean,
exactly.
everyone
All
else
of
is
them.
just so the fucking
Let's
loonies.
shed the dead weight, and freaking.
Yep.
What's
Douglas
his name?
Adams.
The temple guy. He could run the black ethno state, and we could have Richard Spencer run the white. We'll find some Asian guy to run the Asian ethno state. I'm sure they exist. I mean, it'll be great. And they all just fight it out over there and leave us people that are, individualists and don't give a shit about that alone. It'd be amazing.
No, I disagree with you, mate. I do, fundamentally. If you can get them into a spaceship, why wouldn't you just launch them into the sun? Why would you want to give them the chance to potentially do something else?
Because I mean, otherwise you're technically murdering them. Let them murder themselves.
You don't want to relocate them. Well, launch them at the sun and then give them something to.
Well, you could launch them. You could launch them at Venus and miss.
Yeah, Well, just launch them at
No,
the
that's
sun and then
terrible.
give them a Rubik's Cube and say, here you go, a STEM test. Let's see if you can fucking do this. And if you can, then you deserve to survive.
I suck
There you
at
go.
Rubik's
If you
Cube,
can,
though.
if you can solve the Rubik's Cube,
You suck
then
at
you
what?
get
But
to
then I would
survive.
die. You're telling me I'm gonna die. I'm not okay
Yeah.
with it.
You are.
I don't want to
You're dead.
someday.
Well, I mean, if you believe in quota systems and, like liberal arts and shit like that, then yes, you do deserve to die.
I mean, I don't
Oh,
believe in
shut
quota
up,
systems,
Kevin.
but I mean,
No,
No,
I think I want to point out how Mad was attacking the people who believe in nationalism. I think the whole thing about getting rid of people was a dig at me.
Yeah,
No.
the Irish.
No, but I do want to point out.
Tried enough times.
He's not Irish.
Still won't
He's
fucking leave.
not Irish. He's Scottish. Haven't you heard Mad
No.
Dodge call him Scottish?
No, hey,
Yeah,
I stopped that. God damn it, I stopped that.
MC,
Jensen
at least I can build a space laser.
Oh.
Jensen Quinn in the chat said, "Don't give up Titan. That's going to be useful." He has a good point. Is there any other semi-habitable fucking rocks we can send these people?
Europa.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hold on a second.
Europa,
If you put anybody,
You'd have to go under the
All right,
ice.
let's talk technology for a moment. Okay. One of the things that people don't realize is if you take a look at the moons around the gas giants, specifically the ones around Jupiter, which I believe Titan is around Jupiter, Europa is definitely around Jupiter, etc.
Yeah.
Right? The amount of actual radiation that bathes those moons would kill a human within 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, you'd have to, like I said, you got to be you got to be underground or under the ice or whatever.
They're gonna build caves and shit and fight their battles.
Well, you
with
better get
sticks
some
and
fucking
stones.
gills
I'm okay
pretty
with that.
quick.
So basically, it's going to be the ant lords. They're not actually living on the planet; they're living in the planet.
I'm sorry, but radiation, what a bunch of faggots. Man up.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Richard Spencer could handle a little radiation. He'll be fine.
Hey, look, we already know the dark side of the moon is preparing to come. So the Nazi penguins are only a matter of days away.
Well, no, and I'm not giving the penguins a moon. All right, I know better than that. The penguins stay here. We have to deal with them. But
Don't forget, the moon rang like a bell. I mean, they say it's hollow. It's a space station seeded by
the Earth
aliens.
is hollow. The Earth is hollow, but we're not talking about that on
The
this
Earth's
show.
not hollow. The Earth is flat, apparently, right?
There's a thing
Oh my
called
God.
magma.
Aren't we
How
ringed by the
volcanoes
penguins, the Nazi penguins from hell? They surrounded us. People didn't even realize it. But they have us surrounded.
Let's not
yeah.
go there.
Yeah, Gwendy, we didn't warn
Get
you
too
about the
weird.
running Nazi penguin joke. That's been around since I think like episode 4 of the Redeye. We're not going to drop it ever.
I mean, also China's trying to build a moon base because they see space warfare as the future. If you guys keep up with China Uncensored.
Oh, I don't.
Sarcastic
Oh yeah, no, I mean
China
China's
show.
been
No, but the
China's
United States,
dedicated itself to that.
said it wants to create a space force, which actually would violate a treaty we signed with Soviet Russia. But Soviet Russia doesn't exist anymore, so does the treaty? That's a real
Technically, no.
question.
No.
I mean,
No, technically it wouldn't.
Right, the country that it was signed with no longer exists, therefore the treaty is null and void.
Well, I mean, there's a good chance they're probably grandfathered in.
Nah.
Well,
it's
only
First
if
of all,
You
the treaties from that
Only if
time
it's
frame,
agreed upon.
the people tend to forget this, but the treaties from that time frame all basically had the same out, which the only thing it required for somebody to get out of that portion of a treaty would be to announce we're no longer going to follow this. All they had to do was give prior warning to the signatories. Nothing else. There was nothing really binding about any of those treaties.
kind of
Really?
like
I didn't know
the
that.
UN climate agreement in Paris. We will make attempts to lower our carbon emissions.
Paris Accord.
When the United States pulled out of the ABS treaty, all they had to do was announce that we were pulling out of the ABS treaty, which we did under Reagan, right? When he went forward with the quote-unquote Star Wars program. was just to announce that. Now, there were several reasons why Reagan did that, not the least of which is the proof that came down in Canada from the Russian satellite, where they were fueling their satellites with plutonium in quantities that were banned by the ABS treaty to begin with. But
yeah, like America wasn't too.
No, we didn't use plutonium on our satellites.
Oh no, sorry, yeah, no, you just use uranium instead.
Hey, as long as it didn't violate the treaty, so what?
Well, it's still about the emissions rates.
The emissions from
you just used a bit more of it.
The emissions from uranium versus plutonium are completely different. Seen as uranium is
certainly half-life. Yeah, the half-life is.
It's not the half-life. It's the type of radiation that you get from it.
Anyway, satellite should burn up in orbit. I mean, it should be pretty much vaporized by the time it gets down to ground.
Well, you would hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one that landed in Canada wasn't.
See, it's that lazy atmosphere. It's just not providing enough friction.
Well, no, and I kind of like this topic, so I want to move it on forward a little bit. And Jensen Quinn in the chat said, wait till they start utilizing Antarctica fully. Well, what about Antarctica? There's a lot of minerals there, a lot of oil.
Please. Yeah.
No.
Well,
what do you mean? Oh, please.
Aliens. Well, I mean,
I'm not talking about
fucking alien bases. Okay.
I'm not talking about alien bases. I'm talking about the actual utilization that we could do with Antarctica right now, but it would violate the UN treaty. Now, does the United States really give a shit about UN treaties? It's shown in the past, not so much.
No, it never has. No, it never has. Same as Israel. They don't give a shit about UN.
The British are all for the freaking UN treaties. Don't freaking just keep bashing.
Excuse me. How many times has Britain violated
Suez
UN
Canal ring a bell?
No, and I'm talking, currently how many UN resolutions?
What do you mean no?
Anyway, no, there was no UN resolution on the Suez Canal.
Yeah, there were. There were several.
What? What, on the fact that we could spend the ownership of it?
On the fact that it was supposed to be given over to freaking Egypt, and you said no.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a
minute. That's what? So it was imposed upon us. All right. So we denied that one. Right. So you got one. Okay, I'll give you one. Right. Okay. The UN told us it's not yours anymore. Right. I mean, take that for what it is. But the UN told us that's not yours anymore.
Wait a minute, Cabbage.
Tell me another one.
Cabbage, you're going to enjoy this. I keep thinking of Obama. You didn't build that. There you go, Cabbage. You didn't Suez Canal.
No, God forbid. Well, no, we didn't. We just got a lot of people, and we used whips, and and we got that damn thing built. But yeah, well, the Suez Canal, right? So you got one thing that you can point to. Well, what else? Well, what is how many UN resolutions has Britain violated?
What about the one where you're not allowed to leave the EU? What about the one where you're not
allowed to leave? That's not a UN resolution. Well, yeah, but that's a private one. That's a secret one. You're not meant to know about that. Jesus.
I'm sorry, but I have to say here, also as a member of the United Kingdom, we don't recognize the UN. It's a bunch of bullshit, so they can go fuck itself. It was our canal. So
exactly.
The only reason I agree with you totally, boys, but you were nice and quiet, but you aren't the one bashing America about not following the UN resolutions. Cabbage was.
I'm not bashing America about violating. I'm just saying, what's the...
I'm not bashing, but...
Yeah. Well, you have a butt. Come on, otherwise you don't have a conversation. There's got to be a butt.
Otherwise, you don't have a conversation. Cabbage.
You gotta have a butt.
Now that's going on a bumper sticker. I'm just saying.
Oh, fucking hell. If you meme that, you prick, I'm going to shove it up your ass. I know. I'm making it worse for myself. Oh.
Okay. What was the subject we were just discussing?
How we're gonna meme that shit. That's what we're discussing.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just wondering how I can get into his account to make sure this doesn't go live. Oh, sorry, it doesn't
Hey,
get stored.
stop trying to hack me.
I'm gonna have to flag it.
If
I'm
you
gonna
want
have
to
flag
threaten,
it.
if you want to threaten him, just sit up there and join the Weeboo and Omega.
I'm gonna have
You
to
just
flag
make his
myself.
campaign on the Discord server.
Oh God, no! I'll say this live. I don't give a shit. Call me a cuck if you want, but my wife's like, if you don't get rid of that stupid bot, I will. So that bot is dead.
Your wife, I agree with your wife. Get rid of that fucking bot.
I know.
No, and she's an admin of the server. She's hardly ever in there, but she can get rid of the fucker if she wants.
Well, there you go. So
So-
why is she telling you to do it? Tell her to do
Right?
it herself, lazy
She
bitch.
can do it her damn self.
Because she's sitting there making sure that she's in charge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cuck.
Fuck all of you.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, who my beer? That's all I'm saying.
That's all right. You know, we've already got.
It is true. She does.
Drew. He's been completely cucked as well.
She does
so,
keep him. You know,
you're in good
she
company.
does keep him freaking liquored up and fed with burritos. So
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I had a bomb ass
Burritos.
burrito.
No.
Bomb burrito.
No, it's pizza
Anyway,
rolls.
we're getting sidetracked on food. All right. So what's the next story here, guys? We talked about that crazy candidate already. Oh, South Africa braces for new attacks on immigrants. So people are going to be coming to South Africa after the World Cup, and they're getting ready for the massive assaults and rapes that are probably going to happen. Yay, South Africa. Is anything ever going to start improving in South Africa? I've seen stories about them burning down farms every day, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, my
Every day.
brother-in-law lives there, mate.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I kind of wanted to make sure we got to this one, so we're bringing it up now.
Yeah.
I mean, really, is anything going to improve there? You told me earlier, I hope this isn't going too far, but you said your brother-in-law lives in pretty much a gated community, like a compound, like walls and
Yeah,
shit.
it's
You know what I
compound.
mean?
No, it's definitely not a gated community.
Well, I gotta say, when it comes to South Africa, one thing that's hurting them is the fact that they're losing their biggest industry, mining. They're losing out to competitors like the DRC in Australia. So if they didn't prepare themselves to diversify their economy, things are just getting worse and worse. And now we're finally seeing the after effects of it through all these indirect problems. So we've seen this coming from the Benoni case and other incidences 4, 5, 6 years ago. So now we're starting to see some of the greater consequences of it.
Yeah, but they're letting skills go. I mean, this is the thing that the people that were there didn't, learn what was, going on at the time. Ample opportunity.
Well, even if they didn't learn mining skills,
they haven't done it.
They didn't try to diversify.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's mining. It doesn't matter exactly. It's not like they don't have. Like the economies and the places that were created, during colonization.
They were still getting.
Yeah, but they saw how it could work, right? There was already an established working model, and they just fucked it up.
They did. They still had the capital to diversify, and they had the human capital, but they couldn't take advantage.
Exactly. Then why?
This is one of the examples.
Because they don't want, the white man can do no right. So, they basically just inverted the whole fucking process. And look what happened. Congratulations.
Thank you, Cabbage. Thank you, Cabbage. I was going to say, Zach, you're dwelling on the economic point of view, which I understand that's your major. And I love you being on the show for that because I only took economics 101 in college. I'm nowhere as versed in it as you are. But I don't think
you can't even buy a fucking Xbox.
I don't think that
PS4.
the problem in South Africa is necessarily economic related.
No,
I believe it's racial politics, and it's really coming through the forefront here. Because what are they going to do? Yeah. They're going to eliminate the white farmers, and then they're not going to know how to farm, and they're going to starve like Zimbabwe. And 40 ounce, what do you think about this? I mean, I think the South African crisis is a crisis.
It is a crisis, but there's a difference between, economics is just the study of trade-offs. So if you're choosing to be racist, then the trade-off is what you lose from oppressing
Yeah.
the other race.
And look what's
I'm just
happened.
talking about the trade-off, but you're talking
Yeah.
about the morals, which is so much more important. Which I agree with you.
Well, absolutely.
The
I
thing
wasn't
is,
putting. I enjoy your insight in economics. I love that. But Cabbage, just a second though, 40. I do want to get your thoughts on this because I don't know if you ever had a conversation with Clerical, but I have, and he lives in South Africa and he don't plan on leaving. But this shit is gonna happen to him. I mean, this racial violence is getting out of control, and it is racial.
Yeah. No, let's be honest. Most of the people that are still living there, they're probably gonna fucking die. You know, there's you know, there I don't know, depending on where Clerical lives, there's, you know, maybe a 50-50 shot he'll make it out alive. But, you know, let's be honest. He's probably gonna have to shoot at people. People are probably gonna be shooting at him. You know, and it's probably gonna be messy.
Yeah, no, and MC, do you have any insight on this at all? Like, I would like to hear your point of view too, and then I want to go back to Cabbage because brother lives there. You said, but
Well,
I mean, South Africa is a fucking mess.
most of the people who, and this goes for all the races in South Africa. There are several that work in the company I work with, and if you have any skills whatsoever, they're leaving. They won't stay there. They're either going to one of the European countries or they're coming to the United States.
Right.
They're already leaving. Now I understand people like Conscious Clerical. I mean, he grew up on a farm. There's a tie to the land. Farmers have a tie to the land. They don't want to give it up, and I can understand that. But the reality is if things keep going the way they're going right now, there's going to be land seizures. They're basically going to try. What you have going on right now is a completely socialist government. And what do socialist governments do? They have to try and pay for their programs. And they keep trying to get more and more money, which means they keep seizing more and more industries and more things to try and pay for what they're, pay for their policies. And they're running out of money.
Hello, Venezuela.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually have something funny to talk about Venezuela, but continue, sorry.
Well, yeah, so basically they're running out of money for these social programs. They never used to have problems like, for example, with power. All right, now they have constant rolling blackouts during the summer. Okay, the situation is going to become more and more dire as they try it.
Yeah, but then they get reparations.
Well, no, and I want to pose another question here, and I'll let you continue, MC. Is it or is it not true that in the 90s they were on the verge of being a first world country?
Mm-hmm. I know it was Johannesburg. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. South Africa had massive amounts of. It was developing. The trouble was the disparities.
They had nuclear power.
Where the problems lie. Yeah.
Well, see, and that's what I thought too. And now they are circling the fucking drain, headed for fucking Somalia land. Okay, shit is not going good in my fucking estimation.
No, it's not. I can promise you. Like I said, my stepbrother's. The only reason he's there is because he's protecting his interests. He needs to make sure that if he has to get out, he can grab what he has and go.
Well, no, and that's the thing. I saw a thing, all right, and I know I've spoken this before, but let's do it again. There's groups of South Africans that have trucks fully loaded with plants already, with hydroponic hookups, ready to go. They're laden with guns. They got fucking grenades. Like, they are fucking ready to mobilize and leave into what they want to call a safe zone, where they're going to set up a perimeter and they're going to protect a certain area. And that is the hill they're going to die on. I don't know how many people are in this group that was interviewed by Lauren Southern and others. That was the documentary I'm talking about. But it seems like a well-organized group. And what if that happens? They will die on that hill.
Yeah. Okay. They die on the hill.
Will the international community watch?
Does the international community do anything else?
No, it'll just be.
What is it? Because they're white? They care about everybody fucking else.
They don't do
How much
anything
money
for.
are we
No,
giving
hold
to
on. The
everybody else?
international community
Mate,
never helps
you
anybody else.
don't think that would
No.
just not be breaking news? You know, that's all it would be, breaking news.
But the international
Somebody
community
died on a-
doesn't care about anybody.
No.
Let's be frank.
No, they're interested in policy, not people.
No, the only people that have actually done something is Australia, and look at the criticism they garnered.
No,
seriously,
fuck that.
And
no,
all they
Australia's
do
doing
is
good
fight
work.
them over.
You didn't recognize what I said. That they only want policy, not people. It really doesn't matter. The people are superfluous. Doesn't matter what they do.
I don't know about you guys, but I want to stand around and just watch as an ethnic cleansing happens in South Africa or
Yeah,
anywhere
well,
else.
this is what happens with ideology. you see.
Mad Dodge, NAP.
Well, the NAP is being violated drastically, and maybe I feel this way because
Not your NAP. Somebody else's.
No.
Why should it involve
Yeah, well,
you?
I've talked to clerical so many times in Discord and just hung out with the guy. I like
So
him.
you
I don't
talk
want
to
to see
him, is
him
what you're
dead.
saying.
No, I'm just saying I've made a friend and I don't want to see him fucking killed. That's what I'm saying. What
Well,
the,
no.
you know, like,
Non-aggression
What the hell
policy.
is it you
Why
want
would that
from
kill
him?
him?
why the hell, like, should they just, okay, apartheid was wrong, so was segregation. All right. But you don't settle that by flipping it on its head and doing it the other way around, do you? Two wrongs don't make
No,
it
but
right.
that's
I mean-
yeah, exactly. But that's the problem. That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, this is exactly what this whole process is. It's an inversion. It's kind of like, you know, tit for tat. It's very childish.
This is how these
Yeah, but-
things blow out of control, though.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the United States get involved in this militarily?
The answer is
Well,
no.
you already are there, for fuck's sake. I mean, come on. You're all around the entire, you know, west coast of Africa. Got plenty of bases sitting
Well,
there.
okay, here's
Plenty
the
of-
question, though. All right.
You know, I mean,
No,
you've
you know
never-
what? I'll play ball, MC. We already do intervene all over the place. If we plan on being the world's policeman, which it looks like we do, then yes. I say we play the policeman here because it's actually fucking needed. But if you want my real point of view is we shouldn't be the goddamn policeman and we should worry about our goddamn selves. Call me an isolationist.
Then
Fuck
you
it. I don't give a
have
shit.
to
I'll own it.
then you have
But-
to make this. Then you got to be willing to sacrifice your quote unquote friend.
No, I want to sacrifice everybody though, off the board, bring everybody home. But that's not what we're talking about. One genocide is more important than another. And if you're going to be the world's policeman, you can't make that call. No, what
One
about
genocide is more important than another.
You know, he's right.
That-
Yeah, well, no, you do
yeah.
have to decide who you side with. That's absolutely true. You know, I mean, that's the whole point about Germany. It's like, you know, who do you side? I mean, because either one was going to be genocide.
We didn't decide with either one. That was decided for us.
Well, what I'm saying
No,
is the United States,
precisely.
there's so much outrage all the time about one ethnic group being cleansed out of some African country over and over again. We send money, we send aid, we send this, we send that. It doesn't fucking do anything ever. But when it comes to this, which we can see before our eyes, every day another farmer is killed on video. I mean, what the fuck, dude?
Okay. Did we do anything when it happened in Rwanda, which is now Zimbabwe?
Oh, now that's a good one. Right.
I don't know. Ask Bill Clinton.
Well, you see,
Yeah,
Mad,
yeah, right? Don't ask me.
Mad, the problem is we're sending the wrong things. We are sending at the minute a bunch of money that's going to corrupt politicians. We're sending food supplies, which are being captured by basically criminals, and then they're keeping smokes for themselves and selling the rest to the poor people. When what we should actually be sending are nukes.
There we are.
So
problem
you think
solved.
we need to create a very short-term cargo cult?
All right. All right.
If we're going
Zachary.
to help, let's help let's do it from a military standpoint. Otherwise, let's just stay out of it. If you're not willing to accept our military help, which means we bomb the shit out of you until the shit stops.
I'm bad.
Okay, well, Zachary, you've been muted for a minute. Where am I wrong? Because if we're gonna help everywhere, I think we should help here. We're not giving a shit, and it's because they're white people. I believe. I actually believe there's a racial undertone.
Either you be the world's policeman and police everything, or we become more isolationist. Granted, people are afraid to step in because people want the easy job and want to be reelected. They want their pension for being a senator, which is why they aren't pushing for this issue. That's basically what it boils down to.
Hey, where did the chick go?
Oh, she was
Where'd
on
the
her
pussy
phone.
go?
She was on
Maybe
her.
her data limit kept popped in or something like that. You never know.
Exactly. I was gonna say she was on her phone, man. So
Drew,
I doubt
pay
it's
your
nothing
bills.
personal.
You sick? You think Drew's got to pay the bills?
Or no, it's phone settings. It could be a bunch of things. It has nothing to do with solvency.
It's Drew. Drew, he got cucked.
Oh, cut it out! Stop talking shit on poor Drew. He hasn't even been on
Yeah.
the show yet.
He's got his dick in a
Wait.
cage.
I assume that
Wait till
Drew is her boyfriend or husband.
Yeah.
He's in
Something
a dick
like that.
cage. We all know.
They're both in our Discord, guys.
Mm.
But no, I don't know. I kind of want to continue this discussion a little bit. 40 ounce. Can you elaborate more on the South Africa problem, or do you want to change up the topic? You said you have one about Venezuela, so we can pivot here. They're both in pretty sad shape.
Yeah, let me get the article up really quick about Venezuela. Oh, here we are. So you guys know Kellogg's, right? How they make the I'm trying to find out what
Cornflakes?
Cornflakes.
Frosted flakes
Yes.
and shit. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Kellogg's basically shut down a plant in Venezuela. And funny enough, it was actually seized by the government. And so they're running so low on food in Venezuela that they had to actually start using the plant. So they reopened the plant and they're having people work at this Kellogg's plant. That's literally owned by the government.
Well, where are they going to get the corn from to make the cornflakes? Are they actually? Yeah, I mean, have they expanded the concept out to maintaining supply?
They're just gonna use really thin plastic. It'll look fun.
Well,
Have they not thought about supply
Typically,
chain economics?
Paraguay, Uruguay
like
tend
that.
to be countries with food surpluses, along with countries in Mercosur. So that's where they would get it from in theory.
How are they
Notice
gonna
how I
buy
say in theory.
it? Yeah, how are they going to pay for it?
They're not. That simple.
Oil.
So they're going to run the
What is
plant
that
until
worth?
they can't anymore. And they're going to run it very inefficiently.
Their oil
Oil in the
fields are
ground isn't the
stagnant right
same
now.
as oil in a barrel ready to be taken away.
Well, yeah, they got the shittiest oil available. So
No, they don't. They have really good oil reserves. The problem is oil in the ground
but yeah, but
doesn't
the oil,
equal oil in a barrel.
but the oil they have needs to be refined. It's kind of crappy oil.
No,
It's
a
not
lot of
crude.
refining can take place in the U.S. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
Oil in the
There's
ground.
no-
No,
doesn't
what he's
equal
saying
oil
is
in a
that
barrel.
it's not Libyan sweet. What the difference is there, I understand what Cabbage is saying. The difference in the oil that comes from Venezuela is that it has a relatively high sulfur content. They still have a lot of it. It's not that difficult for the sulfur to be purified, but it's not like Libya's oil, because Libya has almost no sulfur in it for refining at all. So you get a higher. It's easier to refine that oil than it is to do Venezuela's. It's not saying
Put
Venezuela.
it on your salad.
Okay, it's granted it's not like Libya level, but it's a lot better than the Alberta oil.
Don't move.
Oh yeah, I'm not comparing it to the
rock ship.
Canadian.
Right.
The
Oh, you're
It's
Canadian.
better than that. I'm
Yeah.
talking about Western Hemisphere oil. I'm talking about non-Arabian
Yeah.
oil. Because
Oh,
I
no,
like
no.
to.
You're right. You're right about that. I mean, the fact that it can be refined is not a big deal. But the problem is that it's in the ground, and what's more is their refineries. They've basically broken everything that they've done.
Yes. And I framed it with the assumption that we're trying to be independent from Arabian oil, at least. Because I know with what Trump's trying to do in the Firma region. So that's why I said it's good oil in comparison.
Well, not it's comparable to what we have in Alaska.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean,
We're far away from that, getting away from Arabian oil and OPEC.
We're
not
right.
there yet.
Oh no, we're well. Technically,
We're not there yet.
Technically, we could export if we really wanted to. We could actually export oil from the United States if we so desired. We do have enough reserves to actually do. But it would take. Go ahead.
We're not where we want to be as far as that goes.
No, we're not. But if oil prices keep staying high like they are, we will be very soon.
And then you flood the market and save the dollar.
Yeah, basically.
Damn right. America.
You can't say that. You're
Floating
California.
currency at its best.
The petrodollar.
Oh no. That's oil in the ground money. No, thank you. And like I said earlier.
But no, Venezuela, it's unfortunate for the people in Venezuela. I mean, with one exception, they voted it in.
That is very true. And I remember there was some news that Styx read earlier. I think it was around a month ago, because I was still dealing with group projects in college at the time. It was when Brazil was dealing with their border, with their northwest border, and how millions of people are crossing into it from Venezuela. It's how you know it's really going on.
But the thing is, right, how long was Hugo Chavez in charge, of the oil supply? And I mean, what did he really do with it? I mean, you can see what happened.
He hired Venezuelan managers that probably have law degrees that don't understand the fine points of mechanical engineering.
Well, yeah, well, we're talking about, the ability of people, employing people on quota systems. It doesn't tend to work out too well. So, I mean, but it's not like of all the countries that could have, potentially made something useful out of what they had, they failed dismally. I mean, dismally.
Just like South Africa. They couldn't diversify and they couldn't take advantage of it.
Well, no, South Africa was actually extremely... this is
They had gold. They had a lot of gold.
You have Johannesburg. You got... No, I mean, look at also not just gold, it was diamonds and everything, the other things as well.
Copper,
De Beers,
zinc.
Remember? Yeah.
Yeah, De Beers, yeah. Well, De Beers is a scum and a monopoly.
I have
another topic.
Question. I have a technical question here. They're taking over a Kellogg's plant. Are they stealing the Kellogg's name? Have they just stolen something from the private
They haven't
entity?
stolen trademarks. They're making food. They just stole physical
they'll
property.
They'll just make something and
Nothing
stick it in a different box.
Yet.
Yeah.
No.
It's not appropriation.
And also, Kellogg's doesn't want the lawsuit.
Okay, I think we're forgetting one major thing here. Where are they getting the milk?
Yes, well, there isn't any. Well, they're milking the rats.
Yeah, the rabbit milk, obviously.
Rabbit milk.
Or they're even worse. They're eating it dry.
Milk it.
They're going in dry.
Milk the rabbits. Oh, Jesus. That needs to be a meme. Milk the rabbits.
No, it actually, Wendy wrote in Discord, her hangouts went all to hell. So Google strikes again. She's not able to rejoin it for some reason. But yeah,
it's because we didn't have enough diversity in the tech industry.
Yeah.
If we had enough diversity, they would have made sure everyone's included, including Glenn. Senator Waiters is correct. We need more diversity to fix this tech issue.
Well, no, and you know what's funny is she's talking about Google and all these other companies that are working really hard to purge conservative, even somewhat conservative views from their platforms. So it's like they're preaching to their own choir and saying you're not good enough. I mean, how stupid is that?
Pretty stupid. Yeah. I mean, Jordan Peterson said it when he was first talking about it. Like, Google, I think, is in court for both being against conservative views and also firing someone or not promoting them because of a woman in 2 different instances. So when you play this game, you get in trouble on both ends, and that's what happened to Google, I think.
But that's the problem, you see. They play the intimidation game. You know, the social justice people. They play the intimidation game. And so you either stand by your guns and say, fuck you. And then they've got nothing to stand by. You know, which unfortunately is not happening. You know, some of these companies really should turn around and say,
have nothing to stand on.
We're not interested. Yeah. You know, you're just harping on, you know, you're acting like children, go away, we're not interested. But they won't do that. They try to appease people. And we were talking about this earlier, weren't we, Matt? You know, this appeasement bullshit's got to stop. Because if you keep appeasing them, let's keep thinking they can get a little bit more. They're never happy. I mean, look at that, you know, that fat, crazy bitch that, you know, won the Eurovision Song Contest.
From Israel, yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know, it's
stupid boy, stupid
just more
boy,
and more appeasement. Exactly, but the thing is, you know, even she wasn't
let's be honest, the
enough of an
Eurovision never had
appeasement.
talent to begin with. Let's be honest, it was always a waste of time.
But the point is that, you know, even she wasn't enough. Right, they then started claiming that she was appropriating the Japanese culture because she happened to wear a fucking kimono or something.
Yeah, like
you know, and she had this, that. So they were actually trying to persecute one of their own. These people will eat themselves. I mean, these are the true cannibals. These are the sort of intellectual, you know. I mean, this is how far they can wrap themselves up their own arse.
Oh,
it's bizarre.
Speaking of which, what did you think of the stage interruption when Britain was singing?
Oh, that was ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Nuts.
Fucking.
That was just weird.
I love how he's going on about Nazis in the fucking UK media, but it's just like, have you fucking gone and like
they're
watched
so
the BBC?
supportive of your cause.
Yeah.
Like
the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like an anti-Brexit thing. I mean, it's a Brexit message. Yeah, you know, because it's a European, you know, at the European event, and then, you know, they call Nazi on Britain. Yeah, like Britain was we killed
like
the fucking Nazi. We were the only one. We killed the Luftwaffe, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? And then you want to call Britain Nazis? Yeah, good luck.
If anything, I wasn't surprised someone.
You really pissed on your own coals there.
Wait, hold up. I was really surprised they didn't try to do the same thing for Poland or Hungary that are trying to go against these quotas. They're the real racists, if you ask me.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, that would have made more sense, right? You know, Poland or Hungary. I mean, well, it wouldn't have made more sense, but it would have been more viable, you know, to do something like that. But to say the British, I mean, after you know, the Battle of Britain and everything, I mean, it's the most fucking retarded thing. That was staged. I mean, that guy, I mean, clearly just delusional.
Invader. He's been known to do that several times, apparently.
There you go. So it's an attention seeker. It's basically someone who wants to be the next Miley Cyrus.
And honestly, when it comes to that kind of garbage, I prefer what they do in football matches. Like, I know this is completely out in left field and completely unrelated, but whenever you watch a Premier League game and there's a pitch invader, they always cut to the announcers or cut away from the field, the part of the field in which he's invading. So that way he never gets the attention on television. And it's shown that over a couple seasons, the amount of pitch invaders has dramatically decreased. Just don't give them the attention. Cut away as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
And don't write news stories about it. And ask, what is
but you know, if you didn't have that, what would you have? You know,
you'd have a guy who tried to get attention and failed, and then he realized this won't work.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, if you're thinking at it, but I mean, it's like you can't tell the media what to report, and they're going to report on anything which is potentially salacious or whatever. Well, they don't give a shit. They don't actually have any, you know, moral compass. It's just they'll print whatever they think is going to get them some
clicks.
You know, clicks or, you know, purchases on the magazine, whatever it is that they're doing. It's pretty pathetic. It really is. It's getting so sad.
Okay, well, I think one of the last stories we have here is Hamas takes credit for most of the people injured in that protest we covered on the last Redeye. Um, well, I'd call it a riot. MC would call it an invasion. So the left likes to call it a protest. Well, I say it's not a protest once Hamas takes credit. It says, yeah, they shot a lot of our fucking people. Come
Good.
on, guys.
That's
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
protest. That is an act of terror.
It was an attack, is what I called it, not an invasion. It may have been with an idea that an invasion could take place at some point. That's probably
Splitting
true, but
cunt hairs as always.
it was an attack. Well, being accurate and specific are as important sometimes, Cabbage.
Fair enough. Fair enough, MC. I apologize. Now, okay, once again, I stand by my defense of Israel on this issue, and I believe if they're being assaulted, the NAP has been violated. They can open fire. Fuck them. I mean, any update on this, guys, in your thinking, or we're gonna beat the horse one more time?
I think Israel will be given a pass for the next couple of months by the UN to use their rubber bullets more frequently until they accidentally do too much of preemptive attacking. Then the media will say, or the UN Human Rights Council will get on Israel's ass again and say, stop that, and also stop bringing in illegal settlers into the West Bank. And then that 6-month Israeli cycle will continue again. That's exactly
you mean
what's
like
going to
the
happen.
no?
It's a
Well,
small issue.
they'll just use white phosphorus again because they never got held accountable for that.
Well, and I was gonna say, what are the chances that they're already breathing down their fucking necks? Let's be honest, the UN is still
less than
fucking
you'd
touchy
think.
feeling.
Less than
Really?
you'd think.
I don't know. I mean,
they know the media game. If they look like the aggressor too much in Al Jazeera,
Hey, they're the Jews. Of course,
it.
they know the media. They own it.
no, he's
They
talking
don't
about
own Al
the UN.
Jazeera, okay?
The media.
But they know to be careful because if they can make themselves look like the aggressor, Al Jazeera will be down their throat. Trust me, they are going to use their rubber bullets and then they're going to be cautious. And then this Israeli cycle of them doing one too many preemptive attacks will circle back to them saying, Israel, you better watch what you're doing, along with what you're doing in the West Bank. And then American media is going to talk about it for 5 minutes. And then we're going to move back to the bigger story about what Trump just said on Twitter or what school shooting just happened. It's a non-issue and it's going to be thrown in the back of everything else.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Israel has a right to defend themselves, and that includes against Iran, and that includes against the Palestinian terrorists that are lobbing rockets in there all the time. I heard somebody call them bottle rockets. I don't think they're launching bottle rockets, at least not the ones I'm thinking
they're bottle
of.
rockets, and also Palestine isn't as violent as Israel makes them out to be. Yes, Hamas is a threat, Iran's a threat, but the Palestinians in the West Bank, they're just more mad about the renegade Israeli settlers. And I'm actually on their side of this story, which might surprise you.
We'll elaborate on that then, because
so basically, what's been happening for the past couple of years is that there was I forget what the name of the treaty or resolution was by the UN saying that Israel can't settle beyond a certain point. It's called the Green Line. And there are these renegade Jewish settlers that believe that land in the West Bank of Israel is a God-given right. So they've been illegally building houses out there and moving into Palestinian.
Well, that's why they call it the occupied territories, right? I mean, it is the occupied territory.
No, it's not supposed to be occupied by Israel. No, it's
no, it's not meant to be, but that's why it's called the occupied territory.
No, but it's very loosely occupied. We're talking about woodsheds, basically, and people moving out there. And year after year, it seems to expand, and then the IDF turns a blind eye. And then occasionally they'll demolish one or two settlements, but mostly.
But that's what I'm explaining now. That's the point I was making, is that it is the occupied territories. This is the thing. If you want to go back to something, you go back to like the 1960, what was it, 1967?
Exactly. And then,
or the 1945 Accords, But they're never going to do that. This is occupied territory. That's the thing. They keep bulldozing things and just expand and expand and expand. We had this the other day, and when people think that the Israelis are not expansionists, I mean, number one, you got a pretty clear, clear historical
Well,
evidence.
it's the lunatics.
But they've also said,
not
the Zionists, the Zionists, they want to take parts of Jordan, they want to take Lebanon, they want to take parts of Syria, because they want to recreate some, I don't know, religious, I don't know, maybe it's in the,
that's what they want
in the Torah or something, but they want to recreate some land that never existed.
No, I'll tell you, that's bullshit. Everybody owned that land at some point in history. All three of the
monotheistic. Well, of course they did,
religions.
because before, but the Jewish people were nomads, right? I mean, they were nomadic. They just,
not entirely
around.
Yes.
Well, pretty much, but the 12 tribes, and they were wandering around. They had the camels and stuff. They were pretty much nomadic. So therefore, they can't claim to have actually had a land of their own.
The Palestinians were. Now, the Palestinians were just as bad, though. They come from the Bedouins. They were just as nomadic, Cabbage.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the Bedouin. No, I'm saying, and like I said before, was like with the Canaanites. I mean, they were all. Well, they had to be nomadic.
But there are no more Canaanites. There are no more Canaanites.
No, there aren't. You know why?
Throw the nomadic thing out the window. Whether your intention was to sit there and stay still or move around, each group of people owned that place at one point in time. And whether you were nomadic or not nomadic, I forget what the opposite term is called, each religion had territory or control of it at some point.
I believe the proper term is city boy.
I think static is the term. City boy. Soy boy. City boy. Well, actually, where is Drew? Soy boy, where are you?
Oh, God damn it. Yeah. He's never going to join the show.
Get in here.
No, but I just, okay, they're expansionist. All right, yeah. So was America. We had our freaking...
Manifest destiny. Go out west.
Exactly. Now that's Israel. If they want to go to war and try and expand like that, that's on them. I don't want any part of it. But they have every right to run their own.
You know damn well you will get. America is going to get pulled into it.
You're okay with Israel attacking Palestine. You just don't want America giving them $10 million a day to do it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're not dumb enough to, pretend that America is not going to get pulled into it, because you got the evangelical loonies and people like that who are going to drag you into it.
Now, if private citizens want to donate or go volunteer for their
but it's not fucking pay-per-view. It's not a fucking GoFundMe.
It's not a boxing match. It's not a pay-per-view. Yeah. It's gonna get tied in.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I would love to see that on pay-per-view.
Cabbage, the thing is, Cabbage, is you're ignoring why the United States got involved with Israel in the first place.
Yeah, Cabbage. Would you happen to know anything about that, Cabbage?
Why America got involved?
Yeah.
Yeah, why was that, Cabbage?
I don't know. They took over your media. I don't know. Now, when you say that why America got involved with Israel, I would have just assumed that it was part of a trade agreement or something.
It had nothing to do with trade. The reason we got involved with Egypt has to do with the Soviet Union.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, but that was also Turkey and other countries too. There was, like after post-World War II.
Okay, so the United States, that's the only reason the United States, it wasn't because there was an evangelical fervor in America that's...
Well, no, I'm talking about now, not then. I mean, why would you bring up then to relate it to now?
The nation today is far less evangelical than it was in the 1960s.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the people, in the play. Well, no, they're not evangelicals within Israel. It's the crazies back, in Texas and places.
Yeah, once again, the crazies in Texas, there's a hell of a lot less of them than there was back in the 1960s. The United States is not
evangelical people don't care about Jews, believe it or not. They
Well,
care
there's a
as less about Jews as they do about Muslims. They're equally filled with disdain for either
horrible.
group.
Really, so the evangelical movement is really disbanding at the moment. It's
Yes.
kind of becoming.
Along
It's
with the
not.
Mormon one.
It has elements of power, but not nearly the strength that it used to
All
have.
right.
Yeah, but why? Well, then why does the AD? Well, what is it? The American Israeli APAC. Why does that have so much power?
Well, no, just a second. I want to go back to the chat here. Moz
Come on,
says,
MC.
Moz says, panel, nuke Palestine that last time. All you guys want to do.
I think that's the voice of
Captain
one choice.
Captain Colepile, moved out a little bit and said, nuke everything east of Constantinople. He said Istanbul, but I like to use the old city name.
Constantinople, is it Istanbul?
Yeah, it's Constantinople to me. But nuke the whole everything east though. That's like China and everything. I think we'll get in a lot of trouble for that.
I think the Japanese would be a little bit upset. Might have some
And the
good fallout.
Australians.
Yeah.
Could ask them, hey, do you remember this? How does this taste? Does this taste familiar? Sorry.
Actually, I think I had the best solution. Basically, nuke everything below the equator.
Well, just blow up everything outside of the UK.
So basically, you're gonna sacrifice the Australians?
Fuck them.
No, sorry. No,
Sorry,
I
New
disagree with
Zealand.
that.
Sorry, New Zealand. You guys are gone too.
No.
The Kiwis have got to go.
You see, he's not a true
Micronesia.
Brit. He's not a true Brit. He you know.
No, he's
still got
Irish.
his
We already knew that.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, I would protect definitely Australia and New Zealand and Canada and the other 50 plus countries. That,
Well,
Virgin
Love it.
Islands, British.
to your detriment when you defend Canada. I'm sorry.
man, well, yeah, but only but no, I'm defending the people. Well, apart from the French one, you know.
You back, you can fuck off.
The frogs.
Yeah, no, fuck the frogs. But everyone else is, sound. They're all good to me. Absolutely.
He likes his lobsters.
All right, guys. All right, let's wind it down here. MC has another thing to go to. Want to plug that real quick, MC, and tell everybody what you're doing?
Well, I was invited on a stream. I haven't gotten a link yet from Nachi Free. He wanted to ask some specific questions about the military. He's going to apparently grill me about military spending, so it should be quite interesting.
When's that?
It's 6 Eastern, 15 minutes or so.
Oh, really? Right. So on the hour.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking we could wrap up. Yeah, I was thinking we could wrap up and go troll the chat a little bit. Give Nachi a good red eye hello. Any last thoughts, you guys, before we end it?
I think you all suck, and I hate you all. There's nothing worth discussing with you.
I want my fucking space laser.
Nope.
No.
Well, of course.
Yep.
All right, what about you, 40?
He's already fucking left.
Yeah.
Laughing
No,
again.
Owen McDonald, fucking, let's try it, number 2, Electric Boogaloo.
40 electric boogaloo. 40. Seriously, put down the fucking tissues, mate. Step away from the tissues. We have you surrounded.
All right, well, then that's enough. All right, well, please like and subscribe, and hopefully we will be back over on Mad Dodge Productions within 9 or 8 days. I don't know exactly when they banned me 3 months ago, but, that's the usual ban time, so
I'm whining.
we'll see. I'm not whining, fucker. All right, good night, and fuck off, cabbage. Later.